Hello, everybody. I am so beyond excited to be back with another Pretty Little Liars video. This time for Halloween, I will be talking about the three Pretty Little Liars Halloween episodes that we have and then ranking them at the end. I'm actually posting two videos today, and these are long ones, like these are juicy ones. I'm also posting a Grey's Anatomy video because I love Grey's Anatomy so much. I know I disappeared for like 4 months. I come back with 2 videos in one day. It's a little bit crazy. I'm just behind schedule as always, so they're coming out on the same day, but these are just going to be very chatty, casual type videos. Not a lot of editing are going to go into them, but I think I'm going to keep my scripts and make some high quality deep dives with the scripts next year. So we can always do better, right? But I just want to chat about the episodes because I haven't been here in a while, but I will be coming out with a lot of Christmas content soon. I promise. I think I've been in a little bit of like a perfectionist mode and I just want to make like really super high quality videos and it just stops me from posting altogether. So I'm gonna stop that and I'm just gonna like have fun with it and yeah, and chat. So I'll definitely rate them at the end, but I would love to know your guys's opinions on which Halloween Pretty Little Liar episode is your favorite. I have my little witch hat earrings in. We're very festive, we're very spooky. Coffee is my magic potion. I am not in the holiday spirit this year. We have a couple decorations in my room, but watching back the Grey's episodes and the Pretty Little Liars Halloween episodes truly did help get me in the spirit a little bit. But I just want to get these videos up so I can enjoy Halloween tomorrow and hopefully watch like a couple horror movies or something. I think that would be fun. So, yeah, let's get into it. Also, they took Pretty Little Liars off Netflix, so I bought the 3 episodes on YouTube. They're only like $3 each, but I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't find them anywhere, so that was a little bit annoying. But I absolutely lived for the Pretty Little Liars Halloween episodes when I was younger, especially the first one. There's only 3 of them, and I feel like since this is such a spooky kind of show, there should have been so many of them, but I do think all 3 of these Halloween episodes are pretty high quality, and I thoroughly enjoyed rewatching all of them back. Also, there's no Halloween book. There is a holiday book, like a Christmas book, that I was gonna do a video on last year, but I just wasn't able to get it up. So I will absolutely 100% be posting a video about that book this year because I have the script written from last year, so I have no fucking excuses. But what better way to celebrate Halloween than with PLL. We start with season 2, episode 13, The First Secret. So we didn't get a Halloween episode in season 1, which is a bummer. I feel like that would have hit so good, but we do have one in season 2. We open with Alison telling a story. This was so iconic. Like, I remember feeling like this was the best thing I've ever fucking watched in my life because up until this point, Alison is dead. Like, we fully believe that Alison is dead, but here she is. The very first thing we hear is her voice. I also have like pumpkin spice creamer in my coffee. Life is good. I'm seriously gonna pull an all-nighter to get these videos up. But yeah, oh my god. Next year, I'm gonna like go full on editing, like adding clips, like we're gonna have fun. This is casual. Totally casual. I can be casual. I can be casual. I swear I can be casual. We see 2 twins in matching blue dresses playing dolls together. So obviously there are so many hints in this show about twins. At some point I want to make a video just going over all of the twin hints that they put into the show because in the books, if you don't know, spoiler alert, Alison has a twin. So it's like they didn't do that in the show, they fucking should have, but they decided not to do it in the show and then just did like a bunch of twin things. But I will be doing a video on the twin theory soon. There's also like the hazy yellow lighting that we get over the flashbacks when, like when Allie's in a flashback. Allie says that the twins play so nicely. We do see them playing nicely and then we see them fighting over a doll. One twin opens up a drawer and we see her reflection in a big knife. Then we flash back to Hannah's house where young Hannah and young Allie are sitting there at the kitchen table with a young boy that they're babysitting. So this is like pre-Allie going missing. And the entire episode is pre-Allie going missing. It's basically like the entire episode is just a flashback. I ate this fucking shit up. as a kid. Allie is telling this story to scare the kid, and I also just really loved this because I really loved Allie. Like, I loved early Allie. Like Allie when she's missing Allie. I thought she was so beautiful. I thought she was so intriguing. I thought she was the most interesting one on the show. I was obsessed with figuring out if she was dead or alive, and like if she was dead, who had killed her. I used to follow Pretty Little Liars Instagram accounts that would like pick apart all the little details, and I even ran my own Pretty Little Liars account at the time. This is back when you could screenshot shit on Netflix. I screenshotted the shit out of my fucking Netflix, and I would like add captions and stuff, and it was so much fun. Like, I was obsessed with this show, like full blown, fully obsessed with this show. But this was Sasha's real first chance to shine because it was her first time like being fully in an episode. Like, she becomes a big part of the show later on, but up until this point she's really only been in flashbacks. But I think her character gets kind of ruined later. There's another topic right there. She goes from being such a fucking badass to just being so whiny. I think they should have like shown her growth and her trauma a bit better, but like I just think they totally messed up with her character like altogether. But though I do know like the earlier seasons fairly well, I think after season 4, I maybe only watched it once, so I could definitely use a brush up. So Allie tells the kid that the sister plunged the knife deep into her sister's chest, and Hanna is super disturbed by this. We see the parents coming home and the sister bleeding on the ground with the knife beside her, and the other sister having a super creepy, sinister smile on her face. And this is so obviously calling attention to the Allie Courtney thing in the book series, and I wish more than anything that they would have gone down that route, but they didn't. And next, the girl gets sent away to a home for the criminally insane, which is exactly what happened in the book series. Definitely sounds like Radley, or sounds like the Preserve at Addison Stevens, which is the main mental institution in the book series. She says that yesterday she escaped and vows to track down any kids who dare to go trick-or-treating, because she never got to trick-or-treat again. Allie then groans really loudly and stabs the knife that she has been apparently holding this whole time into the jack-o'-lantern sitting on the kitchen table. It's honestly kind of funny and definitely a little bit overkill. And obviously this is just like a silly little ghost story that Allie is telling, but these twins do show up in later Halloween episodes, so are they real, or is this a story that Allie's making up? Question mark. Cue the iconic intro that they do for Halloween with the lightning and the blood. This has always gone so hard. And then cue some very sweet rosewood music with the fall background, fall foliage. The 5 girls are walking down the street. Allie asks Emily if Hanna should be cute Brittany or bald Brittany. Allie always has such a subtle way of just being a bully. Emily says that Hanna would probably want to be cute Brittany. Aria's like, she's not gonna shave her head. And Hanna literally says nothing. Spencer keeps texting and Allie is like, oh, you're worse than my dad, Spence. And Spencer speaks about how she is busy trying to get votes for class president. Hanna is confused about the language that Spencer is using, and so Spencer defines procured and obtained. I think this was really super cute, but they really are playing up Hannah's dumbness in the flashback and playing up the stereotypical roles that all of the other girls hold as well. Like, Aria is extra funky with her pink hair and her weird outfits. Emily is extra sweet and Spencer is extra weird. Extra like preppy and nerdy with like these black framed glasses. Allie asks if Spencer is going to recite the entire dictionary, and Spencer tells Hanna that she should be who she wants to be. Allie says, fine, but you better squeeze your fat ass into the tightest pants that you can put on. Hello? Although this is mean, none of the girls point out that this is mean, and none of the girls look strangely at her. Like, look at her like, I can't believe you just said that. Like, that was so rude. Like, they all just say nothing and their faces don't change. And this might just be because they're so used to it. It's also so interesting how like sweet and natural she makes it sound. Like, it doesn't sound crazy mean or anything when she first says that. Like, her voice isn't malicious. Like, it almost sounds normal. It's weird. And Hanna literally just smiles at this. Emily gets a text from her boyfriend Ben, and I'm surprised that they were already dating at this time. He wants her to go as a sexy cop for Halloween, but she wants to go as Indian girl. Speaking of like a Native American, which is obviously problematic. Noel then pulls up in a car with a bunch of guys. Ali says, "What a shame. All that testosterone and not a sheep in sight." Hello? No hello? No how are you? Noel tells her to be careful because he may understand her jokes, but she might meet somebody that doesn't. A guy, specifically, that doesn't get them. And this is obviously extra creepy knowing what happens to her. Loki makes him look a little bit suspicious. I also need to do a whole Noel deep dive because I swear to God he has just done the most random, nonsensical shit in this show. But Aria is smiling at him like a little dork because she likes him, obviously. And they really never got their moment in the show. Like, she was so not interested in him when he actually was interested. He looks directly at her and says, "So are you coming to the party on Friday night?" She says that she didn't know they were invited. He laughs and is like, "Well, you're Ali's friends, right?" Like, okay, we already know that Ali is Queen Bee. We don't need to, like, make that crazy, crazy obvious. We don't need to, like, keep making that known, you know? He says, "Come prepared to be scared." And they drive off, none of the boys having said a single thing except for him. And then the girls literally jump around like little dorks because they're so excited to go to the party. You can literally see Ali smiling and looking at the girls as they jump around, but then her face goes straight. And she says that she's embarrassed that they're so excited about this because it's just a party. And I feel like this shows just how calculated she really is and that she's really trying to make them feel like dumb or inferior, like some sort of way. Spencer says, "Ali, it's not just a party." And Aria says, "It's the party." Ali says that they're right and that she's happy they're all gonna go together. Then they walk past this like boarded up empty house. Emily says that she sees somebody in there, and they talk about it being a rite of passage for like kids to go in there on Halloween, which is interesting because we've never heard of this before. Like, this is new. Aria says that she can't explain it, but she just feels like something really bad has happened here. But Spencer says that nobody is in there. But we do see a hand open the door as they walk away. And then there's a Radley Sanitarium car outside the house. It's definitely giving Michael Myers vibes, and I love it so much. Like, the whole first part of the episode is kind of giving like the beginning of Halloween. Our next scene is Emily walking outside by herself, putting her hair up when she sees Toby like by a moving truck. And this has always really struck me as weird because they try to make it seem in the first season like that they don't know each other well. Like, they don't really talk, but she just strides up to him so easily and starts a conversation, like, as if they've known each other for a really long time. And I'm sure they've known each other, but, like, I don't know, like, it just felt too comfortable. She simply asks if he's moving. Again, no hello, no introduction of any sort, like, just jumping straight into it. He says that his dad just got remarried, so they're moving in, referring to Jenna and his stepmom. It's interesting that this is before Jenna even moves in, but there's some weird vibe between them, like maybe shit has already started to go down. Emily asks if he's okay with this because his mom has died not that long ago. And as we know, Toby's mom's story is very, very strange. Like, the timeline doesn't make sense. So I would also love to do a deep dive on her and like the whole timeline of it all. He says it was a year ago last week. Emily asks what Jenna is like, and he says she gets what she wants. And Emily is holding one of Jenna's snow globes. I actually really love the symbolism of the snow globes when it comes to Jenna because it's such a visual thing and it shows that she really finds things visually beautiful, making like her becoming blind like so ironic and so heartbreaking. And it reminds me of the little lantern that she ends up making in art class too. Our next scene is Ali in the Halloween costume store. There's like a creepy camera zoom in on her and like this really spooky music. It seems like she thinks someone is watching her because she keeps looking around suspiciously. And then jump scare. Someone covers up her mouth with their hand and they're wearing a creepy mask and she screams. He takes off the mask and lets her go and it turns out it's just Noel. I really think that they had something going on because like the vibe is crazy. And they did have something going on in the book series, so that's again another topic added to the list. She screams his name. Ugh, no! He wants her to admit that she was scared. She has a huge smile on her face, and she says that he needs to bring that to Halloween, and he says he's gonna bring much more than that. In the back of the store, someone grabs this like really creepy baby mask, but we don't know who it is. And then Allie starts walking around the store, and she goes up to Jenna, who was looking hot, by the way. No glasses, just beauty. Because this was before she was blind. Not that she's not beautiful after, but like you could see her whole face. She sees what Jenna is holding and she goes, Lady G, as in Lady Gaga. Again, no hello? Like, do you know each other? Like, they clearly are just meeting right now. Jenna says she wasn't going to dress up this year, but she got invited to some party. Allie says so quick, what party? Whose party? Jenna's like, Noel, somebody. Allie says, I'll be there. Noel Kahn, I'll be there. I'm dressing up as Lady G. Jenna's like, oh, she's so new. I thought I was being original. That whole dialogue was so fucking ridiculous to me. It's crazy. Allie says that she still has time to pick something else, and Jenna says you're right, insinuating that she will be picking something else. But Allie is actually so insane and cringy for doing this. Like, girl, she's like Queen Bee, but she's bothered by everything. Like, she cannot play anything cool to save her life. But I will speak more about their dynamic later when we get to the party scene, because they have a very interesting dynamic. Allie says, maybe I'll see you there. Jenna says, I know who you'll be. And Allie says, and you'll surprise me. Okay, poetry. Yeah, she sure fucking will, bitch. I think it's fun that there was like a hint at an almost friendship here, but of course we know what ends up happening to both of them. So this is a cursed encounter. Allie then turns to leave and then goes, oh, I'm Alison, by the way. And Jenna says, I know. I'm Jenna. Like, the way she says it is crazy. And again, we know Allie's the it girl, but do we really have to, like, push it in everyone's face? Like, even Jenna, this hot bitch, knows who the fuck Alison is. Like, it almost seems like the writers wanted Jenna to just seem sinister, but it kind of just makes Jenna feel like a peg below Allie, which is not what we're going for. We're trying to go for, like, Jenna being better than Allie. No goodbye, because nobody says hi or goodbye in this town. Then Allie gets what we would maybe think was an A message at first, but it's not signed by A, it just simply says, I'm watching you from an unknown number. She looks around and then she comes face to face with whoever's in the baby mask. She yells freak, but we don't see who's in the mask and we don't know if she knows who's in the mask. It kind of just cuts from there, which is a little weird. Like, she couldn't have been like, oh hey, who are you? Like, who's under there? The next scene is her, but she's being recorded. She's asking someone if they think that she's photogenic because her grandmother used to be a sweater model. Okay, girl. I can't keep defending you. But her grandmother lives in Georgia now. And then we see that it's Ian recording her, of course. Super fucking creepy, looking like a 40-year-old man, but he's supposedly like, what, in high school or something at this point? I don't know. Fucking know. Maybe college. They're in Spencer's house. He says that the quality is great because it's HD, and she says, I like what I see. Hello? Read the fucking room. Where are you right now? Melissa and Spencer walk into the room talking about Spencer's speech. Spencer says that her parents are already planning the victory party. And Allie says, well, that's what happens when you have a perfect older sister. Like, as in, Spencer has to live up to Melissa, which is partly true. But it's not giving, like, rude and snotty. Like, it almost feels like, at first, like, Allie is trying to suck up to her and get on her right side. Melissa is super snotty, though, and says, no, Alison, that's just what happens when you're a Hastings. Melissa and Spencer seem to have a really good relationship at this part, though, which is interesting to me because this was not the case in the book series. In the books, they always fought even as kids, and then their relationship gets better and better as time goes on. But like in this series, it kind of seems like it gets worse as they get older. But in the pilot, like, they weren't that close. So I don't really know what happens between this episode and the pilot, because Spencer doesn't really do anything weird with Ren until episodes into the first season. Allie says that it's comforting to know that Spencer can rely on Melissa, but they share a weird look that kind of seems like it could mean something more. Our next scene is Aria going to visit her dad at Hollis College to bring him his briefcase, but she runs into Ezra in the hallway and says sorry. It's honestly crazy that they even included that, and Ezra was like, a student at the time. Her dad isn't in the office, so she goes to write him a note. But some blonde girl's on the couch and says that he's in a meeting. She's reading a book and she has her fucking shoes out. She has the dogs out. And this is a small detail that makes her seem like she is extra comfortable there. Why is she extra comfortable there? To take her fucking shoes off. Aria doesn't think it's super weird though, like maybe students do this all the time. Byron comes in. Aria says that mom saw the briefcase in the kitchen. This is notable because the girl obviously hears that Byron probably has a wife. He sees her and says, "Oh, hi, Meredith." It seems fairly casual, but Meredith is definitely super smiley towards him. When she leaves, Aria's like, "What's her story?" But Byron confirms that students crash there all the time. Aria says, "Because you're so cool." Byron says, "Yeah, because I'm down with that." Okay. But they giggle and it's actually really, really sweet. I feel like we were so robbed of this good relationship between the two of them because of how fucking weird he is. In our next scene, Hanna is watching a horror movie by herself in her bedroom, eating popcorn in her PJs. The phone rings in the movie, but then the phone rings in her room, scaring her. And the woman on the TV says don't answer it, but she does pick up the phone anyway. Nobody's there, so she hangs up the phone and the power flickers, and then the phone rings again. This time it's Allie, and she asks if Hanna was at the costume shop and if she texted her. Hanna says no and asks what's wrong, but Allie says to forget it, and Hanna has to go because someone is at the door. It's her mom and Wilden, who apparently drove her home because she got too drunk. And this is so strange to me because just like the Emily and Toby thing, like, feels like the writers are trying to push stuff. Like, Wilden and Ashley weren't supposed to know each other before the pilot episode. Like, before Hanna got caught. They never indicated that they already knew each other. Like, they never indicated that Wilden had already been at Hanna's house. And obviously, like, the writers wouldn't know about this flashback episode beforehand, but like they could have just not put this in to the script, you know? But this does show that Ashley is dealing with the divorce pretty badly at that time because she's coming home drunk. Ashley tells Hanna that she's very sorry for the predicament that they're in right now. They sit on a super uncomfortable looking couch in the living room, which like, is this the first time we've ever seen our living room? I don't think we ever see this room ever again. Hanna says that dad should be rotting in hell for what he's done. And Ashley says to stop that because he is still her father. Fuck that shit. God, I hate this man so fucking much. He's the worst in the book series too. I did a whole series literally on Hanna Marin's dad on TikTok, and I will be making a long form video of it soon. Like, so fucking random, but this man boils my blood. They allude to being in a bad situation, which we can only assume is money related, but Ashley says that she's going to take care of it. We know how this goes. Hanna says she's pretty ugly, which we can assume is about Isabel, the dad's like new girlfriend, but like the girl that he cheated with. Hanna also says that she has a big ass, which is just really showing the times because I wish I had a big ass. The next scene is Spencer at school rallying for her presidency, I guess, with like her big ass, like black glasses. Hanna is sitting at a table with Emily and Aria. Hanna says that Emily needs to talk to Ben because Ben is telling everyone, like all his friends, that they had sex last weekend. Aria's reaction is actually so funny because she's like, what? Like, the biggest, craziest reaction you've ever seen. Like, I know they're in high school, but it was crazy. She says, I will go over there with you right now. Let's shut this down. And this reminds me of when she defends Hanna with the cupcakes in season 1. Like, say what you want about Aria, she does do some really shitty things to her friends and she can be a bad friend at times. But I feel like other times she's so ride or die for her friends. Like, she will defend them. Like, she's tiny, but she is mighty. And I really love that about her. Emily says no. And the girls assume that it's because the rumors are true. Allie sits down and then Mona comes up to them and says, hi guys. Allie says if you ignore it, it'll go away, which is so fucking rude. So nobody says hi to her. I'm getting sleepy, you guys. I already filmed like I spent so long filming my Grace videos. I got coffee today with a friend. I went to the mall with another friend. A wonderful day. I'm just tired. Like, and she goes and sits with Lucas, like at the opposite end of the table, who is looking very suspiciously at his sandwich. Emily tells Allie that Ben's telling people that they had sex, and she says, and he's still breathing because? Honestly, I really love this reaction for her because it shocked me. You would think that Allie would find this cool because I'm pretty sure she was sleeping with Ezra at this time? Board shorts? Aria says because it's true. But I'm wondering, like, even if it is true, like, Ben is going around telling people this, like, and this is still a problem, no? Hannah can't believe that Emily is the first one to lose their virginity out of all of them. We know that this is probably due to, like, Emily being the sweet one or the shy one, but it is kind of funny knowing that she's gay. Em asks why it's so hard to believe, and Hannah says, just because you're a prude. Allie says, shy on the streets, sexy in the sheets. I knew there was something different about you, Em. Okay, girl. I love this because I actually do really ship them together, but I think I ship this version of them together, like younger version of them together. Like the versions of them that we got was not giving for me. Next, we get the scene where Aria and Ali are walking together and they're eating like frozen yogurt or ice cream or something. Mona is calling after them and they ignore her. This is a flashback that we have already seen in the first season, but it intertwines with everything that's happening in this episode. This is when they see Byron cheating in the car with Meredith. He sees them seeing her, and they're really just parked like out in the open. Like they're kind of like in a bush a little bit, but clearly they're in Aria's neighborhood. Like he's not trying very hard not to get caught. The next scene we get is Jason coming into Allie's room. Allie asks Jason what him and his buddies do in the locked room. He says he will tell her for $20, and she gives it to him because she says $20 is cheap for a secret. He tells her that they're making a movie. She asks what kind of movie, and he says, if I told you that, I would have to kill you, which is just very suspicious and weird knowing the kind of things that they were actually filming, the NAT club. He hands her a package that was on the porch and says it was for her, and then he leaves. Inside is a voodoo doll and a note that says, it's my turn to torture you, which she reads out very dramatically alone in her bedroom. This does feel very Mona, based on like the whole bullying thing, like now it's my turn to bully you, basically. But outside, someone is looking at her house through like a mask, maybe the doll mask from earlier. Our next scene is in Hannah's kitchen. Ashley is looking for a job and she circles the bank teller job that we know she ends up getting later on. Wilden is at the door. He said he was patrolling the neighborhood and just wanted to check in. She makes it clear that he is misunderstanding the situation because she only needed a ride. He offers to help if they like need anything because they're adjusting to like living without a man in the house, which is just really fucking weird. He says that he was just being nice, but that she should watch herself on the roads because people are unpredictable. Now, what the fuck could that mean? Like, why would he say that? It's actually really cheesy how like ominous everyone says. Like, this script is crazy. Like, it's just ridiculous. But when I'm picking it apart in this way, it just becomes very obvious. Ashley tells Hannah that that was a horny cop, but that they won't see him again. Bitch, you thought. You fucking thought. Like, I don't know, when that whole thing happened, you'd think that Ashley would be like, oh yeah, this is the guy from before, but maybe this is why she knew that he would take a bribe, if you know what I mean. Over a fucking sunglasses. Bracelet in the book, sunglasses in the TV show. Our next scene is at Spencer's house. Allie comes over to Spencer's house and says that something happened. Apparently, she has a friend on the election committee who isn't sure that Spencer's gonna win. I think she's just making this up. Spencer says that she is desperate to win to make her parents happy. Allie tells her that her sister's nice act is just an act, and that she tries very hard to keep Spencer in her shadow. Spencer defends Melissa and says that she's just trying to survive in this family like she is. Then Spencer cries and tells Allie that she really needs to win this election. It is crazy how much, like, pressure Spencer feels over this little high school election. Allie tells her that she can make this happen for her. And this just shows that she's super powerful or whatever, like in her little high school, like, okay. In the next scene, Aria is walking into her bedroom and her dad is sitting there looking at photo albums. Okay, now you love your family or whatever, I got you. Aria asks if mom knows and he says no. Aria asks how he could do this to her. He says that what you saw was the end and not the beginning, and that she's going to be transferring classes and he's never going to see her again, and obviously he's just doing all this because he got caught. Like, don't be that, like, fucking stupid. He also doesn't want Aria to tell mom about this. She cries and is like, you want me to lie? He says it was a mistake and we don't need it to get bigger than this. She's like, would you have still thought it was a mistake if you hadn't gotten caught? And he says, yes. Okay, whatever you say. The whole thing is just so sick and twisted, but honestly, it was way worse in the book series because he does all this to her, and then when Ella finds out, she totally turns on her too and like kicks her out of the house. It's like a whole fucking thing. It is so terrible to put your literal kid in a position like this, like, and make them feel like them telling is gonna ruin the family. Like, that's sick. Aria says that she's never gonna be able to forgive him for this, real, and he says that he's gonna respect her decision, whatever it is. Okay, bitch. The next scene is Allie and Emily walking down the street because Allie just loves walking down the street with everyone. Emily also likes walking down the street. All they do in Rosewood is walk down the street. They do a lot of walking. Allie says that Emily should go on the pill because Juno was a cute movie, but I wouldn't want to live it. Emily says that she doesn't need to go on the pill because she's not having sex. She says, Ben and I made out, but I didn't give it up. Allie says, then why is he telling everyone that he took the VIP tour to Neverland? Girl, are you okay? The things she says are truly fucking crazy. Allie feels like Emily isn't telling her something, and she says that it's really hard to figure her out. Emily wants to keep this between the two of them, and she's actually really, really sweet to Emily about this. I'm thinking maybe she wants the others to think that she's having sex with Ben so that they don't suspect that she's having feelings for girls, or like for Allie in particular. The next scene is all of them at school in the hallway. Spencer is stressed about the election, but Allie tells her that she took care of it. Emily tells Spencer to stop drinking coffee, and Aria says that Spencer bleeds caffeine. Allie asks Aria in front of everyone how her mom is doing, which is fucking rude. The girls are obviously confused by this, but nobody asks. Lucas spills water on Allie and says sorry it was an accident. She asks if that's what the doctors told his mom and dad when he was born at the hospital. Fucking ruthless. She then calls him Hermie, which is short for hermaphrodite, and obviously really horrible and offensive, and he says, my name is Lucas. Aww. She then asks him if he still has both. Hanna is confused and pulls a really cute looking face, and Mona is watching this entire interaction. But the girls walk away, and Hannah's like, both what, Allie? Parts, Hanna. He's half guy, half girl. He says to Mona, like after they left, that one day she's gonna get what's coming to her. Very ominous. I don't know. Very good foreshadowing moment. Mona doesn't really say anything either. Spencer wins class president by 2 votes. Allie smiles at her and literally everyone gathers around and claps for her, which is like super weird and awkward. They get this like weird like angle from up high too, and it's just like feels unnatural. Like no one would really give that much of a shit in my opinion. Our next scene is in Spencer's room and everyone is getting dressed up for the party. I'm pooped, so I think I'm going to finish filming this tomorrow and hopefully still get the video up for you. Hi, it's the next day. I'm back. It's the 31st. It's Halloween. I'm not getting ready today. I have been on a long journey of accepting my acne. I've cleared my skin. I've broken out again. I've cleared my skin. I've broken out again. It's like body positivity. I'm fucking hot either way. And I'm so tired. Like, I'm so excited about this video and I'm so excited about Halloween today, but I'm tired. So I'm comfy cozy. I got my Crocs on. I'm doing a Halloween themed dinner with my family later today, so I want to get this video up and be able to enjoy my night and like watch a spooky movie. I'm kind of in the mood to just watch like a classic like Halloween. Yeah, so let's get into the rest of this video. Oh, I also have my jack-o'-lantern earrings on today. We have also vampire dog mug with my coffee today. So we left off with the girls getting ready for Halloween, like the Halloween party in Spencer's house, and Aria shows up, but she's not in costume, and she says that she's just really not feeling it. We can tell that she's really upset over everything that's happening with her family. Allie goes, what's this about, Aria? It's weird to me how she is so mean specifically to Aria, but she's been fairly nice to the other girls about their problems. But I will say Hannah's the only one in this specific episode that like Allie isn't super involved with her problems, you know? As they're getting ready, they notice that somebody in a babyface costume is standing directly out the window watching them. Emily says, there's somebody outside. They're watching us. But it sounds like they voice recorded this and put it in after and she didn't actually say it in that scene. Like, it just sounds really off. Allie is in her horrible fuck-ass wig and I love it so fucking much. This is absolutely iconic. The person ends up leaving and Hannah says that was really freaky. Allie says, it's Halloween, Hannah. Don't you love a good scare? This bitch, like, say something normal. Like, does she ever have normal dialogue? Like, she's always speaking crazy. Like, and I only really, like, I knew that she did that, but I'm only really noticing it now that I'm, like, picking everything apart. The pizza guy is at the door, but Spencer doesn't want to go by herself because of everything that just happened. So Emily says that she's gonna go down, and Hannah's like, yeah, I'm gonna come too because I'm really starving. Ali whispers, of course, and it sounds like she's saying, like, of course to Hannah for saying that she's really starving, but she whispers it so low that no one else hears it, nobody else reacts to it, and it just like there's no other reason for her to say of course. I'm so confused, but it doesn't like match the tone. Like I don't know what happened. It's so weird. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but I was like, what the fuck is what? What was that? Ali then tells Aria that nobody likes a downer and that she's been like an energy sucker ever since what happened with her dad. Girl, what the fuck? Ever since she saw her dad kissing that tart, is specifically what she says. Aria asks for some slack because she's really going through it right now, and Ali is mad at her for not telling her mom about her dad kissing the tart. I don't know why she's so mad though, because this kind of works in her favor later on because Ali is able to blackmail Byron. So I don't really know what her deal with this was about like wanting Aria to spill the beans this bad, you know? She's also mad at Aria for not coming to the party because she says that she committed to it. Hello? Aria says that nobody will miss her, and Ali says that she will, like, really sweetly. Like, it's like, oh my god, wait, that's so nice. Or is it? It's unclear why Ali wants Aria there so badly, but maybe it's just because she wants, like, some control over the situation and Aria isn't doing what she wanted. She also says that it wasn't easy scoring Aria an invite, which we know wasn't true because Noel assumed they were coming the whole time. Ali tells Aria that she didn't tell the rest of the girls what they saw, and Arya's like, okay, thanks. Like, as if, like, that was a given. Like, why would you tell them? Ali's like, well, what if somebody else told? Like, I would hate for your mom to find out from someone else. Arya obviously catches on right away and is like, you wouldn't actually do that, would you? And she says, trick or treat, Arya. What? Are you talking about? So now we are at the party. Ali is Lady Gaga, Spencer is Marie Antoinette, Hannah is cute Brittany, Emily is of course Indian girl. Noel says that he's a gynecologist and Ali goes, ooh, as if like this is like super sexy and like fun. Ew. Aria does show up and she's dressed like a witch. Gaga then starts playing and Ali screams that this is her song, let's get up and dance. This is when we see Jenna in a much better, much hotter Lady Gaga costume with a much better wig. And Ali is absolutely fucking pissed. Mona is dressed up as a sexy cat, but no one can tell that it's Mona apparently. She meows at Ali. Ali's like, do I know you? And Mona says no, but you will. It's actually so obvious that it's Mona. It's crazy. Like, this is a Hannah Montana moment. Like, how, what? Like, I know Mona's like a loser or whatever, but like, there's no way you look at her and not know that that's Mona. This is fucking crazy to me. Ali tells Jenna that she looks great, maybe even better than her. She also tells the boys that Jenna was speaking to scram, and Jenna says, wow, you say froggy, they jump. What the fuck is wrong with the script? Ali says she can make it really easy for Jenna to fit in there because if she accepts her, everybody will. Which is funny because I'm pretty sure everyone is accepting Jenna just fine. Like, Ali just is weird as fuck and wants to control everything. It's unclear whether she likes Jenna because she kind of respects her for going against her and dressing up as Lady Gaga, or if she really hates her and like is just trying to do everything she possibly can to control the situation. Jenna says that she knows how it works and Ali says that there's room in their crew for her. And I think it's so interesting to imagine the dynamic that could have happened if Jenna had joined the group. Maybe Ali would have been more challenged. Maybe Jenna wouldn't have been blinded. I also really love Jenna as a character, and I love pre-blind Jenna. Like the Jenna that we get in this episode is amazing, and I wish we could have gotten more of that and like more of this. Like I just love that somebody's challenging Ali, you know, rather than like how Jenna gets later on when she's just kind of afraid of Ali. I'm going to be posting a Jenna from the book series video soon too, so that'll be a fun little deep dive. And there's so much more lore between Alison and Jenna in the book series that was very interesting. And it'll go hand in hand with the Toby video that I posted a few months ago. Jenna says no to joining the group because she likes to pick her own friends. What an absolute fucking queen. And again, it's just so much fun to see her this way because she gets more timid after the Jenna thing because she gets scared of Ali. And it's fun to see her not scared of Ali, but she has no idea what the fuck is coming to her. Later, Mona tells Jenna that she is the best Gaga, and Jenna says not to tell Alison, and Mona says that she's not afraid of Alison. And they introduce each other, and I think this would have been such a fun dynamic to see as well. Outside, Spencer asks Ali about the new girl that she was talking to, speaking of Jenna, and Ali calls her the S word. I don't, like, what can you say on YouTube? I'm not really sure. Ali then gives her the ballot cards and says to get rid of the evidence, which Spencer immediately does, and Ali is shocked and says, like, that she's surprised she didn't want to at least look at them first to see if she actually won or not. She also says she would be surprised who her friends aren't, which is interesting to me because is she insinuating that her friends voted for somebody else? And what does that mean? Because we don't really like hear anything more of that. Like, is this actually important to the show? I don't think it is. We then see that somebody is watching them from afar through a mask, like earlier. Inside, Jenna is dancing all sexily, and Emily is dancing with Ben, but watching Jenna. Ali is watching Emily watch Jenna, but Jenna and Emily make eye contact, and they really look like they're flirting with each other. Like, why is Jenna giving bi energy? Oh, wait. I forgot. Wait. Bi queen. This version of Jenna and that version of Emily would have hit hard too, in my opinion. Ali then goes up to Emily and whispers, "Do you wish that you could taste her cherry chapstick?" What a fucking bitch. Emily is confused about this, but Ali says that her secret is safe with her. Ben says nothing the whole time, and it's pretty clear that it's not actually Ben, but it's like a stand-in who doesn't like have any, lines because it's not actually Ben. But what, like he doesn't hear Ali whispering? Like, right there, like they're dancing. Outside, Hanna and Emily sit on a bench together. Spencer and Aria come outside as well, and they talk about the fact that nobody can find Ali. All four of them get a text message at the same time, which is giving like an A message, but it is a text from Ali. She says that she's in trouble and that they need to come alone and sends them an address. When they get there, it is the old creepy house from earlier, and Spencer says that this is a joke and that she can't be in there, but Emily is worried that she might actually be in there and actually be in trouble. Slowly they walk inside and Aria's like, "Ali, this isn't funny anymore," like as if this ever was actually funny. It's super creepy and dusty inside and there's like old furniture everywhere, but it's mostly empty, definitely abandoned. We see someone in a costume walk behind them, but they don't see this. Spencer says that it was just the wind. They then walk upstairs and we see someone in the baby face costume, like watching them walk upstairs. Upstairs, they go up to a closed door and they can see that somebody is like walking underneath it. Ali then opens the door and asks if he saw them. She says that somebody grabbed her at the party, brought her there, and that he has a knife, but she didn't see who it was. This whole story is absolutely crazy and unbelievable, right? Like, if this did happen to her, why would she call her friends rather than the police? And why would she want her friends to walk into a super dangerous situation in the first place? Like, none of these girls are thinking these things. She says that he says he brought her there to kill her. Hanna says that she wants to call 911 and tries to call 911, but there's no signal. And this is crazy because Ali never says, like, hey, don't do that. Like, what would she have done if Hanna had gotten the call through? Like, is Ali just all knowing and she knows that the call wasn't going to go through? Like, what? She says that she was locked in a closet, but then he let her out. She freaked out and she ran upstairs and has been hiding there ever since. And apparently she has a key to the room somehow. Like, and no one asks her how she has that. But I think this is actually really good foreshadowing to what happens like later in the season when she makes up the whole story of what happened while she was like in hiding, Ali says that it was the same guy that was watching them at Spencer's. She also says that she called them from the hallway so that she knows she has a signal there and that she's going to go out and try to call the police. Why the fuck wouldn't she do that before? And that they should lock the door while she's out there. So she leaves, they lock the door, and they hear her scream, and they try to unlock the door, but it's not budging. Or they don't really try to unlock the door. They're just trying to like open the door without unlocking it first. Spencer screams that the door is jammed, but again, like they haven't, like we don't see them like put the key in the door yet. But then we see the outside of the door, and there is like a stick between the handles so that they can't get out, so it is in fact jammed. Through the keyhole, they can see that somebody is attacking Ali in the hallway, but she fights the guy off and runs away. The four of them get out through a window. Emily grabs a stick off the ground for protection, and then they walk back in the house through the front door and nobody calls the police. What? Alison is just sitting there eerily in a rocking chair. She says, "Look at you four. Scared to death. I got you. It was a hoax. The zombie was Noel. Happy Halloween." The babyface costume is like a babyface zombie costume, by the way. She then eats fake blood off the knife and says that it's ketchup, ew, and asks if Hanna wants some. A fucking violation, that is. A fucking violation, bitch. I also want to say that they put Hanna in a fat suit, but she's not even fat. Like, I don't know. Allison is just so fucking mean. Allie says that the whole thing was funny, but Spencer says that they're not laughing. And the girls all look really fucking pissed off, as they should. Allie says that they should be happy because they passed the test. Now she knows that if she really needs them, that they're going to be there for her because of the way they charged in trying to save her. This is actually really interesting. At first glance, it just seems like she's kind of cruel and is just like trying to use them or make their lives miserable. But when you think about it a bit deeper, like she had just been getting these really ominous text messages, right? So she's probably afraid for her life and wants to know that somebody is going to help her. And maybe she's even like testing her friends to see if they're the ones that are like torturing her now. Because, you know, if they were sending the text messages, then they probably wouldn't have tried to save her. I don't know. Just some thoughts. So maybe she's just doing all of this from a place of desperation. This could also be why she really wanted Aria to come to the party, because if Aria didn't come to the party, she wouldn't have a chance to test Aria and see if she would come save her or if she was the one sending the messages, possibly. They go back to the party and they notice that everyone's older and Ian and Melissa are there now. And they conclude that it's probably Noel's older brother Eric's friends there now because it's a bit later. Ian is there recording everyone, as he does because he's a fucking creep. Allie says, "What's that saying? Boys play with toys and girls play with boys." Ew. Like, I swear to God, she talks in fucking riddles, but I do be eating that shit up. Melissa then comes up to him and starts making out with him. Queen energy, as she fucking should. I mean, she should fucking dump him, but, you know, gotta do what you gotta do in the moment. Wilden is there in his cop uniform, and he's talking to Jenna. A guy in a babyface costume comes up to Allie, and he calls her a bitch, and then walks away. It's very much clearly Lucas's voice. Allie asks, "Who was that?" And then it's revealed to the audience that it was Lucas. I remember being absolutely gagged when this happened. Noel comes up to Aria and says, "Don't hate me." Allie says, "Are you kidding me? It was perfect." And all the girls are like, "Allie told us that you did it. Like, you can admit to it. Don't worry about it." He says that he was stuck at the party the whole night, so it wasn't him at the house, like it was supposed to be. I'm guessing it was Lucas, but was it Lucas or was it Mona? I'm a bit confused about that. I don't remember. So, let me know if you remember. So Allie gets a text message, and it is an official A message because it's literally from A, not just an unknown number. And this is the first official A message ever, actually. I remember being like, oh my god, Allie was getting the A messages before she died. Like, I remember thinking that that was so interesting. Dying to know who I am? You'll find out. A. I also still want to do a whole video on like just the A messages that the girls have done. I can do one for the book series and one for the TV show. That'd be really fun. Aria asks who it is, and Allie says it's a secret. And this is a little callback to the name, The First Secret, which is interesting. You know, it's a secret, first A message. Then we see two people dressed up in baby costumes. The girls are looking at them suspiciously across the party like they're in a field. Seems like this is probably Mona and Lucas, but this is a bit confusing to me because the first A was Mona, right? But Lucas was never officially on the team, was he? You guys, maybe like I'm really lost right now and I need to rewatch the whole show. And then we have the classic PLL music that normally happens when they get an A message, and the camera pans away from them dramatically. Then we have somebody take the babyface mask off, but we can't see their face. So it seems like this is probably someone else other than Lucas. Maybe somebody else was the mastermind. Maybe this was the person that beat her up in the hallway of the abandoned house. Maybe it was Mona? Question mark? I don't know. And this is the end of our first Pretty Little Liars Halloween episode. I'm going to go make some lunch and then I will be back to talk about the next one. Okay, I've successfully uploaded the Grays video. I have a gluten-free pizza in the oven. Let's continue! This is season 3, episode 13. This is a dark ride, which I know is a lot of people's favorites, and I have to say, this episode was so fucking iconic. Arguably the best Pretty Little Liars Halloween episode, and maybe one of the best Pretty Little Liars episodes in general. It starts off with Mona and Radley on a stormy night. I love Radley scenes. I wish we would have got a million more of them. Red paint drips down on her shoe. She is painting the red mouth of a paper mache face, or like a head, and she is singing the Teddy Bear's Picnic. But then she starts speaking, and it's unclear at first if she's talking to somebody else in the room or if she's just talking to herself. She says that she asked if she could do an art project, and they said that art is okay, but they don't really talk about Halloween there, because it can have bad connotations for some of the patients. She then turns and it shows that she is talking to somebody there that is all cloaked up and you can't see who it is. She tells this person that she loves Halloween because she loves dressing up as somebody else. And I kind of love that all the Halloween episodes are starting off with a really creepy story time element. She says tricks and treats, treats that turn into tricks, it's better than Christmas, more makeup. She's a queen, and honestly, she's one of my favorite characters in the show. She hands the person her pills, which both shows that she's not taking them and that they might be using these drugs for another purpose. It's also pretty obvious that this is A and whoever took over the game for her after she got put in Radley. Mona tells them that she would bet someone's life that this will be the best Halloween ever. The next scene we jump to is the 4 girls walking down a rainy street in Rosewood. They love the fall vibes on the streets. Hanna wants to know what the other girls are being for Halloween because she doesn't want them to accidentally dress up as the same thing. Spencer assures her that this is not going to happen. Aria reminds her that they were supposed to each pick a movie and then surprise each other with what they're going to be dressed up as. Hanna asks whose stupid idea that was, and all at once they all say, yours. Always showcasing Hanna's little blonde moments, which we love to see. They're talking about how they're going to the ghost train, and then Hanna says that she has to go because she's going to the dentist, which is code for seeing Caleb. I vaguely remember that they're dating in secret to try to protect him from A and his mom from A, but you can refresh my memory on this as well if you know what it is. If this wasn't a super casual quick video I wanted to get up, I would do more research and make sure I remembered everything, but thus this is not really a video essay and it's just for fun. They see a huge coffin that says R.I.P. Alison on it. The girls are pissed off by this, but Emily is extra pissed. She says, you know what, the joke is over, and she starts walking up to it. And this is when somebody in a really bad blonde wig and dress jumps out of it and scares the shit out of her. It's actually super unclear what she thought she was gonna do. Clearly she didn't think anyone was inside of it. So, was she gonna pack it up and take it home with her? It's huge. It's the same size as her, so I'm not really sure what she was planning on doing. Apparently, this is a guy from school that we've never heard of that they say is a loser. Spencer says, this is why nobody wants to date you. And I really love this random and unserious moments that we get from them, where it's just showcasing their friendship and actually shows that they have lives outside of just A and other people that they know. Then we get another iteration of the iconic Halloween intro. This time there's a little baby face mask in the eye of the person that's in the coffin, and we also get bloody handprints behind them. Spencer walks into her house to see Garrett there. I actually can't believe he's still in the show at season 3, but we know what's about to happen to him. He has brought flowers and said that these aren't for you, they're for your mom, who was helping him get out of jail. I just think it's funny that he said that. Well, you didn't have to say that. That's crazy. He says that he did want to talk to Spencer though because he likes to keep his promises. He also says that it's nice talking without having a big slab of glass between them. Obviously, when she went to visit him in jail to get answers, he said that he would tell her once he got out. I also don't understand how he's just inside of her house right now and she's not concerned about it. People just walk right on in, apparently. Garrett says that he needs to get out of town and start fresh, and Spencer wants to know everything that he knows before he leaves. Then Toby just walks right into her house, as people do, apparently. But he has the most serious expression on his face that I've ever seen in my life. No knocking on Spencer's door, no knocking in Rosewood, period. And again, because we don't say hi in Rosewood, Toby doesn't say hi. He simply says, "You're leaving," to Garrett. Garrett asks Spencer in a hushed tone if he is leaving, and Spencer answers in a hushed tone saying later, like as if Toby can't fucking hear this. He's standing right over there. Toby asks what that was all about, and Spencer says that Garrett promised to tell her everything that happened to Allie the night she disappeared. Apparently he knows who stole her body, and he's going to tell her this, but he was only going to tell her after he got off on bail. Okay, my pizza's ready. Yay, we have food. I got my period, so I'm extra hungry. Toby then asks her if he told her this, which is funny because he just came in here and interrupted her, so obviously she doesn't know anything yet. Spencer says that Garrett's only going to tell her when they're alone, and Toby's like, well, that's never going to happen because I'm never leaving you alone with this guy. And I mean, I love an overprotective boyfriend, just like everybody else, but he hasn't even cracked a smile yet. Like, he's just like so overly serious. It's crazy. Spencer says, you make it so hard to be a postmodern feminist when you're so alpha male. Okay. It seems like they're gonna start joking around with each other, but then they start making out. He then hugs her and he looks so angrily and ominously out the window. Like, Toby has gotta be one of the most dramatic characters on this show. And I've never scrutinized the details of the show so much, so now that I'm like writing everything on paper, it's just so obvious how, like, I don't know, like some things just seem very like out of place. Like, no one would do this in real life, but I'm loving every single moment of it. Our next scene is Caleb and Hanna making out in the storage closet at the dentist. Caleb is getting tired of hiding, and Hanna says that they can't risk going out in the open with their relationship. And she says that this is the third cleaning that she's had this month, which is hilarious because who is letting her get that many teeth cleanings in 1 month and isn't getting suspicious about it? But he jokes that her gums look great, which is very cute. Caleb says that nobody has heard from A since Garrett has gotten out of jail, so maybe it's safe, but Hanna doesn't agree. She then makes a joke about a mysterious stranger making her night better on the ghost train since he's not going to be able to be there. And they start making out again in the dark. Our next scene is Aria alone in Ezra's apartment, and she's trying on this chunky necklace that's going to be a part of her costume. He walks in, and he's like a little bit surprised to see her there. Guess she has a key? I'm pretty sure she does have the key. Ezra says that there's a problem about tonight and that he's not going to be able to go to the ghost train because he has to go to Philly. Won't you be so kind as to join me in bed? I'm fucking tired, but I want to finish the filming part before kids start trick-or-treating and ringing the doorbell every 5 seconds. That's gonna irritate me. So Ezra is meeting his biographer in Philly. I don't really remember what this was about, so if you remember, please refresh my memory. He says that he will make it up to her that he's not going to be there for Halloween, and she says that she knows, but she was really excited to show him her costume. He's like, well, you can show me tomorrow. She says, playing dress up for your man on Halloween is one thing, but do it any other night of the year and you end up on a talk show. Okay. He says it depends on the costume. And I think it's actually crazy that they're being just so open and honest about the fact that they're like, I don't know, like having sex? Like, is she not still like 17? Is she not still in high school? I'm so lost right now. They made such a big deal out of keeping their relationship this huge secret and then just gave up on that and started hanging out in public. Like, what's going on? They're interrupted by trick-or-treaters at the door, and Aria goes to get the door holding an empty, like, pumpkin, like jack-o'-lantern that's supposed to be filled with candy, but there's nothing in it, and I just thought that was funny. And then Ezra gets a super creepy and ominous look on his face. So at this point it's season 3 and they're already making him look creepy. We know that like something is a little bit up with him because what's going on? And where is he actually gonna be? Because there's no way he's going to Philly. So now we're at the Halloween party at the Brew, and we hear an announcement that the Halloween train is leaving in 5 minutes. Hanna walks in her Marilyn Monroe costume, and she looks literally stunning. Lucas takes a picture of her with a vintage camera with a flashbulb, and she says, can you see I'm incognito? He looks at her super sweetly and says that she looks beautiful and watches her as she walks away because he's literally in love with her, always has been, always will be. In another life, I would like them together, and I really shipped them in the book series. I have a whole script written about them as a couple because I did a TikTok series on it, so a video on that will be coming out at some point as well. Okay, so much for that idea. My microphone died, and I had to go upstairs to carve my pumpkin. I made Ghostface, that was really fun. And we're also doing everyone in my family is doing a little appetizer Halloween themed. So I had to make my little basically pigs in a blanket but mummies. I look kind of wrecked, but who fucking cares? let's continue talking about Pretty Little Liars. So then Aria comes in and she is dressed like Daisy from The Great Gatsby. A lot of people don't really like her costume, but I think it kind of slays. I think she looks really cute. She tells Hanna that Hanna looks really good and she goes, oh, thanks. It didn't take that long, only 6 hours. And then she asks Aria who she is, and Aria's like, Daisy Buchanan from The Great Gatsby. And Hannah's like, the movie? And Aria's like, the book? But I mean, like, okay, like, she knew that it was a movie. Like, it's a movie too, you know? But I love these, like, little subtle blonde moments that we get from Hanna, because I feel like in the last episode, everything was just so obvious that she was, like, ditzy, you know? Noel and Jenna then come up to them and ask, like, why they're alone, like, without their dates. Jenna is a pirate and Noel is a prince, but they're like a couple, so I don't know why they're not in a couple's costume. And they're just absolutely like just menaces this entire fucking episode for some reason. Noel said that this year he decided not to throw a Halloween party so that he can focus on what's really important and then kisses Jenna, and this clears up the whole thing like, oh, if Noel Kahn has a huge Halloween party every single year, then why is he on the ghost train? But yeah, they're being really weird and snotty to the girls. And honestly, I can't even take this seriously after watching the Pretty Little Liars podcast, because the girl that plays Jenna, like, all I can see is Tammin after watching that. And across the room, someone in a baby face costume is watching them again, just like last year. So we've come full circle. They really should have put a baby face costume guy in like the most recent Halloween episode, but it's not. Like, just to like really connect all the dots, you know, because we have like the twin girls and all of them. Aria says that it's just a costume and that it doesn't mean anything anymore. And then Spencer and Toby walk in and they're both looking so unbelievably fucking hot. They walk in through smoke. Spencer looks at Toby and says, if you need me, just whistle. Okay, and I can fucking bark, bitch. They are apparently Mary Slim Browning and Harry Steve Morgan, but I know nothing about that. Okay, like I said, I didn't put like any research into this video because I just wanted it to be chill. The girls ask Spencer if Garrett told her anything, but the answer is obviously no at this point. Noel throws a grape up in the air, catches it in his mouth, and then starts choking on it. The girls literally just stare at him and say nothing at first, which I thought was fucking funny. Like, no one is alarmed at first. And then finally Jenna screams, do something! And Toby starts giving him CPR, and Noel collapses to the ground. Can we also just like talk about the fact that Jenna and Toby are just casually at a party together after everything that she's done to him? Like, it's kind of crazy. She's just like walking free after all of her fucking crimes. Spencer's telling Noel that it's gonna be okay, but then this like devil thing bursts from his chest, and it's clear that like he did this all as a prank. Jenna starts laughing, they're both in on it, whatever. Noel says it must have been something that I ate, and Spencer says, you're amazing. Next, Emily and Paige walk in. Emily looks so fucking hot, like she could fucking get it in this dress. I hate Paige's outfit. I don't really like Paige as a character, but again, after watching the Pretty Little Liars podcast, I can't really see things exactly the same that I used to. Like, the actress was really badly bullied for being Paige, and I don't want to like add to that too much, you know? They're apparently Barbarella and Marlene Dietrich, but I also don't really know anything about that, so I'm not going to pretend to. Hanna says they look like a wedding from outer space, which is definitely true. Jason walks in and it looks like he's dressed like someone from Footloose. Aria asks when he came back, and Spencer is confused because she didn't know that he was coming back. I guess he was out of town. I think because of the whole Garrett getting out of jail thing, if I'm remembering correctly, because he believes that Garrett did kill Allie at this time at least. Also, he looks really hot. Spencer looks a little bit suspiciously at him. Then we see Ashley and Pastor Ted at home. They are a couple at this point, and I honestly really loved them, and I hate that they had to break up. In the next scene, everyone is boarding the ghost train, but it's really dark, and when the lights turn on, it's Adam fucking Lambert performing. I think it's so funny that he was on this show, and I really unironically love him. He sings Cuckoo and they all dance. He's dressed up as a vampire and he has super sparkly eyeshadow on. In the next scene, we are back at the Radley, and it looks like Mona is in bed sleeping, but then it zooms in on the head, the paper mache head that she was making at the beginning, and it's in bed, making it look like she's in bed, but she's not there. She's escaped Radley. I love the lore of her sneaking out of Radley. Like, it's crazy that she's able to sneak out of there, and I wish we would have gotten more Radley content because those are like my favorite moments in the show. And honestly, the nurses are kind of at fault for this because they should have known she was going to do something suspicious with that paper mache head. Like, what kind of craft did they think she was going to do? Then, back at the train, we can see the creepy babyface mask guy watching them from the back as they dance. But then somebody in a different mask, a Phantom of the Opera mask, starts like kind of grinding on Hanna, like dancing up close to her. She says, do it again and I'll leave you with a bloody stump. But then he walks away from her. I'm pretty sure this is, I don't want to like spoil it, but I'm pretty sure this is like this isn't someone creepy. Like there's two people in this costume. If it was like the good person, I don't know why they would walk away without saying something to her. I don't know why he waits to reveal himself, unless maybe it is the creepy person, and maybe the writers just did this for like dramatic effect, you know? We also get these really crazy shots of like underneath the train and the train tracks and stuff like that. Jenna walks right up to Toby at the coolers and says, "Can you hand me one of those?" But doesn't like say what she wants, and apparently he just knows exactly what she wants, which is fucking weird. She even asks him what he thinks of her costume because she has all the fucking audacity in the entire world. The absolute goal and wherewithal of this woman. He says, "It's very nice, but I like you a lot better like this," and covers up her eye because she's a pirate, so she already has like a patch on one of her eyes, and covering them both up, like she won't be able to see. So she like hits his hand away because she's like, what the fuck? Isn't it kind of crazy that she would go from being blind to being able to see, and that she would pick a costume that would cover up one of her eyes? Make it make sense. This is the most like everywhere video I've ever filmed, but it's time for me to go eat dinner, so I'll be back. You guys, it's been a couple hours since I posted my Grey's Anatomy video and only 8 people watched it, so if I put all my time and effort into my Grey's video, no one watched it. I mean, I had fun doing it. Like, either way, I'm not gonna regret it, but that's kind of it's kind of sad. So Spencer bumps into Jason and was like, "I didn't know you were back." He says that he is back, he's doing much better, and that he was going to come to visit her, but then he saw that Garrett was there. And remember, he doesn't like Garrett, and he thinks that Garrett did kill Alison, and he hates that Garrett got released from jail. He then makes eye contact with Lucas across the room and has a very suspicious look on his face, which I thought was strange. I could write an essay on like the smallest fucking details from this TV show. It's crazy. And I can't even keep track of like which details matter and which details don't even lead to anything. Like this fucking Lucas shit. Like what does this even mean? But Lucas has been creepy in both of these Halloween episodes. Lucas leaves the room with his camera and Jason excuses himself to follow him, which like that doesn't lead to anything either. Like, why does he follow him? Meanwhile, Adam is singing a new song, and all the girls are dancing front row because they are the main characters and nobody else in Rosewood matters. At Ashley's house, she goes into the kitchen and she sees this little blonde girl in a white dress looking all ghostly next to the open back door. So this girl just let herself into her house through the back door. And it's the same exact girl that was one of the twins from Allie's story in the last Halloween episode. We have come full circle yet again. So it's clear that she's dressed as a ghost, but it's unclear if like she is a ghost or if she's a real girl. The girl says, "May I call my mother? I want to go home." Ashley asks if she's by herself, and the girl says, "I'm cold and I want to go home." "Okay, Queen, we're gonna get you home." Ashley gives her the phone to call her mom and says that she can stay there until her mom comes to get her. She says there's nothing to be afraid of, and the girl says thank you. I guess we're just brushing past the fact that this kid let herself into her house, but I guess she's just thinking like that it's a harmless kid at this point, so we'll just let it slide. Ashley tells her that all of the stuff on Halloween is just make-believe, and the girl says that people shouldn't make scary things. Obviously, this is reminding me of the scary story that Alison told, that we thought she made up, but maybe it's real, about this literal girl. But it's also interesting that the only reason we know this little girl is because of the visuals. Like, if Alison had simply told the story, we wouldn't know that this is the same girl, you know? And Ashley is the one seeing this girl, but Ashley doesn't know the story, for all we know. It's also assumed that this is the one that was killed and not the one that does the killing, since she's supposedly a ghost. Ashley says that scary things can sometimes just be fun, and the girl says, "I don't think so, not anymore," which would make sense after being killed by your own sister. Back in the train, Hanna goes outside, which, can we talk about the fact that if you're being like terrorized by somebody, the last thing you want to do is like go outside on the back of a train? But the guy in the Phantom of the Opera mask follows her out. She says, "No means no, opera boy," which I thought was actually very clever considering she knew Phantom of the Opera, but she didn't know Daisy Buchanan. I don't know. He grabs her, she kicks him, and he laughs. It's obviously Caleb's voice, and he says, "Why did I ever think that you needed protection?" She takes the mask off of him and smiles, and then if we can remember, she made like a joke about how some mysterious stranger was going to make her night really good. So it's like, it's not like they planned to do this because he did surprise her. So he kind of like took inspiration from that joke, I guess. But she did not seem very scared when she thought it was a stranger. So like, I don't know what's up with Hanna Marin. But they start making out because obviously they're in love. Duh. Aria's sitting by herself, and Adam, in the flesh, comes up to talk to her. She asks if this is fun for him, and he says, yes, this is absolutely fun, which I thought was just like the way he gave that line, but he really gave it. Like, it was strange. He asks if she came alone, and she says yes because her boyfriend couldn't make it. He asks what her name is, and she says it, but it's so loud that he can't hear her, and she decides to write it on the window in condensation. Obviously, this is a super iconic moment, and this was always on the Instagram pages that I was talking about earlier, because she writes her name, but the second A is written like the AA, if you know what I mean. And I'm guessing this is intentional because Lucy Hale didn't do that with both A's. She did it specifically on one. So if that was just like the way that Lucy Hale wrote A's or like the way that Aria wrote A's, both of them would have been done like that. It was so fucking suspicious. They did that shit on purpose. I know they did. But she's very casual about it. Like, it doesn't seem like it's done in a creepy way. I also really love the theory that Aria could have been A, which is a theory that a lot of people like. I would have been disappointed to find out that, like, her friendship with the girls wasn't as good. Like, I feel like it would have ruined it for me a little bit. But it would have been better than what we did get, for sure. He says that he has to go to another set, but makes her promise that she will be there watching in front row, which is a little bit crazy after she already admitted that she had a boyfriend. Like, he's just hella flirting with her. Adam. I don't even know if he's straight. Is he straight? He's not giving straight. Then we can see that someone is watching her in a creepy Queen of Hearts costume. It appears to be a woman because they have really long fake red nails on, but it could be anybody. I'm a little bit suspicious. They open up the ring that's on their finger and we see that there's some suspicious white powder inside, which we can assume to be whatever medication that Mona has been taking at Radley that she gave to the person in the cloak when she was doing her paper mache craft. They slip this into Aria's drink as they walk past. She didn't see it. And like, how is it, like, it's just so convenient that all of this is happening at a Halloween party when everyone gets to be dressed up. Like, they're not even freaked out a little bit that they can't tell who most of these people are. Like, this wasn't like a thought in their brain when they were gonna go to this fucking party. I'd be like, fuck no. Fuck no. Someone's trying to murder me. I'm not going to a fucking costume party, bitch. Emily and Paige are in a private room together. Paige says that traveling is so romantic. And then they start making out because everyone is so in love. I'm not a hater. I'm a lover at heart. I'm just a little bit of a hater. Finally, Paige takes off that fuck-ass top hat she's been wearing. She says that she's amazed that Emily is even with her, and I can say for all of us that we're also amazed that Emily's with her. I'm sorry, that was so mean. That was so uncalled for. But Emily says that she's amazed that Paige is with her. Honestly, though, they're really fucking cute, and they talk about, like, how sometimes things do work out for the best. I hope things work out for the best for all of us, not gonna lie. But of course, there is a shadow underneath their door, and someone is watching them. Because things never actually do work out in this show, do they? Unless your name is Ezra Fitz. Then nothing bad seems to really happen to you. Things seem to really work out for you no matter what fuck-ass shit you do. I just love saying fuck-ass lately, like... That's my go-to. You guys, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm having the best week ever, though. Spencer is leaving a room by herself, and she hears humming. We can hear that it's Mona, because first of all, it sounds like Mona's voice, and second of all, like, we know, like, it's this song that she was humming or singing earlier in Radley, but I wish we would have seen more of Mona in this episode, but it is eerie, like, knowing that she's around and that she's off her meds. But if she was gonna leave Radley, then why did the person have to visit her to get the drugs from her? Like, she could have just brought them. Then a random person in a baby face mask grabs her, which I guess we can assume is Mona because we heard her humming. Oh wait, no, it's not, because I know who it is. Never mind. Scratch that. They bring her outside. But then we cut to the next scene, and it turns out it was Garrett in the babyface costume. Because of course, if he was going to be on this train, he would have to, like, be fully in costume without people seeing him. But I don't really know how he knew to dress up as that. Like, does he know the significance of that costume? Did someone tell him to wear that costume? Like, why that costume out of everything? It's a little fucking on the nose and weird, like a weird coincidence. He apologizes to Spencer and says that he lied to her, that she is the one he really wanted to protect. But he wasn't strong enough. He says that he thought he had everything under control, but he didn't, and he didn't know what the game was truly about. Spencer asks if he killed Alison, and he says he's going to tell her everything he knows about the situation before he goes out of town. But the deal is that she is not allowed to go and find him. What? After she gets the info, why the fuck would she need to go find him? Frankly. Garrett speaks about how all of them from the NIT club were up in Allie's room the night she disappeared, and then Melissa comes in. Spencer says she already knows that this happened because she saw the tape, and we all saw that tape too already. He said that he took Jenna outside to let Ian and Melissa talk things out. They went behind the Dilaurentis' house, back where the ground was dug up for the gazebo that was going to be put in. We then get a flashback of Jenna and Garrett walking back there, and Alison shows up. Alison tells Jenna that she has a really bad memory because she told her to leave town. Jenna literally tries to punch Allie, but Allie swerves it because guess what? Jenna is blind and Allie can see, so I really don't know what Jenna is trying to do here. Jenna grabs Allie. Allie pushes her back. Allie is obviously in the iconic yellow shirt. I want to do a video on everything she did and everywhere she went on the day of her disappearance because it just like makes no fucking sense. I want to know also that her hair isn't very curled, so it really varies. Like her hair goes from super curled and pretty to like just kind of wavy and all over the place, like depending on where she is and what time it is in the night. Garrett tells Allie to leave, and Allie says that this is her backyard, so they should leave. And honestly, yeah, like there's literally random people up in her room right now. Like, what the fuck? Why were they even in her room? I don't understand. Jenna says to shut her up. Allie pushes Jenna so hard that Jenna falls over, which she actually fucking deserves at this point. Jenna grabs the field hockey stick off of the ground and tries to hit Allie with it, but Garrett grabs it from her. Allie mentions that she knows everyone is up in her bedroom, and Jenna says, "Do something!" Like, because Allie is the threat right now. She's not even like Jenna's the one that's physically fighting with her. Why does Jenna want Allie dead so bad at this night? Can someone please remind me? Like, is it just because she threatened her? I don't get it. I don't remember. Garrett holds up the hockey stick like threateningly, and Allie gives him a look. So like they're on the same side. He starts hitting the tree with the hockey stick, and she starts screaming as if she's being hit by it. I'm pretty sure a tree and a person is not going to sound like the same, but Jenna's like, "Oh my god, is she dead?" And Garrett says that he took care of it. So Jenna thinks that Garrett killed Allie, and Allie went along with it. I don't understand this from any perspective because, like, why would Garrett want Jenna to believe that he's a murderer? Why would Jenna be okay with Garrett being a murderer and staying with him? Like, he is totally okay with that and still wants to be with him. Why does Jenna want Allie dead? And why does Allie want Jenna to think she's dead? Like, just to get out of this situation? Like, she's gonna show up at school the next day and be like, "Hey, bitch, I'm alive." Like, I don't, like, this is just crazy. What's going on here? Allie holds up her finger like, "Shh," and like to signal to Garrett, like, to pretend that she's dead. Then they leave. So Garrett tells Spencer, like, in the now that no, he did not kill Alison. Alison was alive when he left, but Jenna thinks that he killed her. But Garrett says that he went back that night and saw Alison talking to none other than Byron Montgomery, and we know that she was blackmailing him, which, can we return to like the whole thing where like she wanted to blackmail him, so why did she want Aria to tell the secret to her mom so bad? I don't get it. I don't get it. There's so much about this show that I don't fucking understand. Also, I remember this Byron Montgomery reveal when I first watched it and realizing how fucking insane and crazy it was. Like, this man is insane. Truly, this man is insane. Byron calls Allie a child, and she says that he knows what she's capable of. Okay, Jesus Christ. Garrett says that he was going to tell like the police about this when he was in jail, only that Spencer's mom cleared him before he was able to. I think this makes no sense because if you knew this information, you saw her alive talking to someone else, like, and you're being accused of killing her, that's the first thing you tell police. I feel like this was lazy on the writer's part and that they didn't think this through and they only added this in later because that makes no sense to me. Spencer says that she's gonna go get Aria and he is going to tell this to Aria's face because she knows Aria's not gonna believe it. She says to stay here. He says, "Where do I have to go?" And honestly, that made me kind of sad. He was just like, "Where do I have to go?" Like, this man has been through it. But he has been fucking suspicious this whole time too. Like, why is he getting himself in the middle of all this bullshit? I don't know. I don't know what this man's motives were this whole time. I also feel like they could have done more with Garrett's character, but they just kind of let him flop. Like, he could have had a redemption. He could have done something fun, but he just flopped. Spencer and Hanna go to find Aria, but all they find where she was sitting was her purse. When they look at the window where Aria's name was, everything is smudged out except for one A, meaning that A was there and A took her. But suspiciously, it's not the A-looking A that is left there. It's the first A, the normal-looking A. Why the fuck? Like, that doesn't seem like a thing, like, A decided to do. Like, it seems like an a thing the writers did. Like, why would you do that? It just bugs me a little bit. I hate that. And then they get an A message on Aria's phone in her purse. So clearly whoever A is watching them and knows that they just found her purse. Like, look around, girls. Start ripping people's masks off. Like, what's going on? You're in a closed, tight space with a bunch of people there. Like, it's a pretty safe space to figure out what's going on. And yet so much of the train is eerie and empty and dangerous at the same time. Guess who won't make it to the end of the line? A. It's also kind of crazy like how intense things get in this episode. Like, they really do try to kill off Aria in this episode. Cut to a clip of Aria opening her eyes and she's in the dark, like in this box looking place. She has duct tape over her mouth and she's trying to scream help. Emily thinks that Aria might not still be on the train, and I think that they should have been more freaked out about this, because if she's not on the train, she's off the train, which can't mean anything good, you know? But Spencer convinces them that she's still on the train and that they need to find her before they get to the end of the line. Spencer also fills the girls in on everything Garrett said. Emily and Hannah think that Garrett might be messing with them, but Spencer believes him. Spencer says that Garrett needs to leave town because he's afraid of something, and why would he lie? Or like afraid of someone. It's then revealed to the audience that Aria is standing up in this wooden box somewhere on the train. As she's trying to get out of the box, she knocks over the box and lands on her back. Meanwhile, Hannah goes up to Caleb and tries to tell him what the problem is, but he's not speaking to her and acting really weird and being like super handsy with her. You can see a bit of a plastic mask underneath the Phantom of the Opera mask. So it's pretty clear at this point that this is not Caleb. And then she realizes that it's not Caleb when she sees Caleb taking a drink across the train. She pulls off the Phantom of the Opera mask to reveal an Alison mask. They grab onto Hannah's arm for some reason instead of running away. She simply says, "Let go, stop," but doesn't try to pull off the mask. Absolutely fucking infuriating. You're in a room full of people. You're not in danger. I mean, like, you might be in danger, but like, at this point, like, let's just figure this shit out, you know what I mean? Back at the house, Ashley cannot find the ghost girl anywhere. Ted says that nobody has come looking for the ghost girl, or like little girl, he didn't say ghost. Ashley goes upstairs and finds the little girl in Hannah's room. She says that she called her mom, but when she called her mom got really sad and started crying. This is interesting because if she is actually a ghost and she actually was killed by her sister, if she called her mom would be really freaked out and start crying because, you know, either someone's playing a joke on her or like the ghost of her daughter is calling her. Terrifying, sad. The girl asks why her mom is mad at her, and Ashley says that maybe she dialed the wrong number. The girl says that her sister must have told her mom that she ran away and that she's always telling her mom lies about her to get her in trouble, which is a really on-the-nose callback to Alison and Courtney from the book series because that's exactly what they did to each other. She also says that she fights with her sister over dolls sometimes, which calls back to the season 2 Halloween episode where we saw Alison telling the story of them fighting over a doll and then one of them getting murdered. I guess this confirms that the story is true and not just made up by Alison. Ashley tries to comfort the girl, but her hand is ice cold, so she gives her the blanket on Hannah's bed. She goes downstairs to get Ted, but when she brings Ted upstairs, the girl is gone and the blanket is folded nicely on the bed. I remember being so gagged by this part when I first watched it. Ashley does not explain to him what's wrong and kind of just looks around the room ominously. Back on the train, Spencer finds the baby face mask on the ground. I guess this would have been Garrett's mask. And then she gets choked out by someone in a Queen of Hearts costume. We know that this is either Ian or her own sister, Melissa. So I'm going to assume this is, or not Ian, Wilden. I'm going to assume this is Wilden. She's getting like pushed off a railing outside. Imagine if this is Melissa. Ugh, I don't remember. She's able to push the person off and run back inside so that she doesn't get pushed off the railing, literally off the train. But then she can't get too far because the next doors to the next train car are locked. Like, who is the staff on this train? She starts getting beat up by this bitch again until Paige starts running in, and this scene makes me laugh so much. The way Paige runs in her little tux with her gelled back hair cracks me the fuck up every single time. It'll do it for me every single time. Paige throws off the person and then the person runs away. And then Paige pulls a big red nail out of Spencer's hair. Okay, I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna come back looking like a little rat and we'll finish the video from there. I'm already getting sleepy. Okay, so it is in fact after my shower, but it's also the next day. What happened was I almost filmed the entire video and then like some of my footage was janky, so I'm gonna have to re-record record the ending, but that's okay. It is November 1st. I got rid of all my Halloween decorations already. Kind of sad. But I'm so far into this video. Obviously, I'm still going to post it. I probably will post it tomorrow on the 2nd, which is the Saturday, but I feel like that's okay because people were like, is it Halloween weekend last weekend? Was it Halloween weekend this weekend? I feel like it's still Halloween weekend. I won't be celebrating, but I will be posting this video, and hopefully you will enjoy it. Anyway, let's get into it. So we get back to Aria, who is able to get the duct tape off of her face. She turns in the box and she is face to face with Garrett's dead body. Absolutely fucking gagged when I first saw this shit. But I am a little bit confused about the logistics of this because wasn't she already in the box when Garrett was talking to Spencer, or am I mixed up? Like, is it not in chronological order? I'm not sure. But then Aria screams when she sees Garrett. There's also a rusty nail sticking out of the box that she used to get the duct tape off of her hands. Meanwhile, Spencer is asking Hanna if Hannah's okay, and Hanna says, "What do you think?" She's annoyed that she has been like trying to fly under the radar with Caleb this whole time, and it was all for nothing because A, knew the whole time. Spencer also thanks Paige for saving her, and Paige says, "It's a pleasure." Which, like, I know we're trying to have a sweet moment between them because they don't really like Paige that much, but Paige is so fucking cringy, everything she says. Back in the box, Aria is getting moved around. Paige, like, runs into Jenna, who starts talking to her, so Paige asks if she's seen Aria, and she says, no, but she has a thing for authority figures, so she's probably up with the engineer. She fucking ate that shit. So true, queen. She also bites her lip as Paige walks away, like watches Paige walk away and bites her lip. Bye, queen moment. And then she looks suspiciously at Lucas's camera. Like, what does that mean? What is up with Lucas in this episode? I'm so confused. Outside the box, we can hear two people whispering, and it's also very clear that they're outside now. Spencer, Emily, and Hanna find Aria's necklace, and the door is locked, so Hanna grabs the fire extinguisher, and it's pretty clear she's gonna, like, bang the door down with it, but they cut to the next scene and we don't get to see any of the action. The two people are struggling to get the box off the train that has Aria and the dead body inside, and, like, isn't this, like, if they were to throw that off the train, wouldn't it just, like, explode everywhere, like, on the tracks, like, bang open? That's gruesome. Aria finds a rusty screwdriver in the box, which is so convenient. There's like little slits through the box, like through the planks, so she drives the screwdriver into someone's leg. And I'm pretty sure that turns out to be Lucas later, or was it Wilden? Let me know. Because I know Lucas had a bad leg, but was that from this or was that from something else? I really need a rewatch. Like, really, really, I need a rewatch. And then it seems like the two people run away before they finish the job, which is crazy because she's literally hanging by a fucking thread off of this train. Like, they could have done one final push, the job would have been done, but they run away and they did all of this for nothing. Like, for what? Like, I know they get spooked because they can hear the girls coming, but I'm pretty sure like, the job is almost done. Like, you have time for one more push before you run away, you know? And I'm sure they're in costumes anyway. Just as the box is about to fall, the girls grab Aria, and in my opinion, they're too calm. Like, they do not seem as freaked out by the situation as they should be. They're able to pull Aria out of the box, and then they see Garrett's dead body. And, like, they do look freaked out, but again, kind of calm. Meanwhile, at home, Ashley is pouring a glass of wine because Ashley is Ashley, and why wouldn't she be pouring a glass of wine? Pastor Ted comes inside and says that he checked the whole yard for the girl and that she's just not here. Ted says that the girl probably went home, and Ashley thinks that this is a little bit suspicious because the girl was in Hannah's room and they would have been able to see her when she left, but they didn't. Ashley says that the girl was so cold and asks him if he believes in ghosts, which I felt like was a little bit on the nose. Like, obviously we know she's thinking that the kid's a ghost, but let's just think about it. Like, let's not say everything out loud. Like, let's not make everything so obvious. We can have a little bit of, like, unspoken, you know? But Ted says that he's not supposed to believe in ghosts. I'm guessing this is because he's a priest, but, like, he can believe in the Holy Spirit. And then they silently drink their wine. Back on the train, the police are investigating the dead body. Obviously, Garrett's dead body. Aria says that she doesn't want to go to the hospital, and she also tells the girls that she doesn't believe what Garrett said about her dad, which is crazy to me because we spent the whole, like, last Halloween episode learning about how fucking weird her dad is, and, like, she knows that he's a fucking liar, so if I were her, I'd be believing anything I hear about this fucking man. I don't know. She's too loyal. But she's not, though. She's not loyal. Isn't she a cheater? She's a cheater. Just like her dad. Oh my fucking god, this family. They all agree that A was the one that killed Garrett and that A has been making them do a bunch of things to get Garrett's name cleared so that he would be out of jail, so that A would have the opportunity to kill him. This is now 2 people from the NAT club that are killed, and also 2 people from the NAT club that were killed that were in Allie's room the night she died. Ian and Garrett. Who's next? I'm pretty sure only one of them survived. Oh my god, yeah, they all died except Melissa. But was Melissa part of the club? No, she just showed up, right? Did everyone from the NAT club die? Holy fuck. Was it just a group of... Oh no, because Jason didn't die. Never mind. I'm delirious right now. How many people were in this club? Ian died. Garrett died. Was Wilden in the club? Wilden wasn't in the club. Was it just the 3 of them? Like, including Jason? Okay, whatever. Let's move on. Then Ezra fucking Fitz randomly shows up. He says that he was going to meet Aria at the end of the line, but he was told that some crazy shit happened on the train and somebody was hurt, and so he drove beside the train tracks. I don't know about you, but there's always a fucking ditch beside train tracks that I see, so I don't know what fucking train tracks you're driving next to. Until he found her. And he found her. And this is not... Well, this is the first time. But this is not the only time that Ezra Fitz is going to show up somewhere, because we're going to see what he does next in the next season. Noel then goes up to Hannah, Spencer, and Emily and says, "Why don't you guys just tell the cops that you did it so we can go home now?" Okay. Hannah says, "You know what? Can it, Noel." Great comeback, Hannah. Jenna says, "Shut up, Hannah." And Emily says, "No, you shut up." Toby's getting real pissed and starts fluffing up his little vest. He goes up to Noel and says, "Back off." Noel says, "Or what?" And then Toby says, "You don't want to know, Noel," which is the funniest fucking line. Like, it's so good. They start fighting, and then they knock over the ice chest that has everybody's drinks in the whole night that everyone's been drinking out of, and there is a dead fucking body in a body bag. And everyone's thinking that this is Alison's body. I remember this reveal being absolutely insane. I remember my jaw dropping to the fucking floor. Jason is looking at it, and you can tell in his eyes that he thinks that this is Alison, his sister, because her body has been missing. We know that it was Bethany Young's body, I'm pretty sure, right? But the police get it, right? So wouldn't they be able to test it and know that it wasn't Alison's body? Fuck, I'm confused. Lucas snaps a shot of the dead body with his old ass camera. And then back at Radley, we see Mona tucked into bed and the alley mask underneath her bed, which isn't hiding very good because there's nothing to cover it up. It's just on the hard, cold ground, like under her bed, that like you can see right underneath of really easily. So, but this reveals that she was in the alley mask, which means she was feeling up Hannah on the train. All right, bestie vibes only. Then we get a clip at the end, back when there was a hole in Allie's backyard where the gazebo was gonna go. Before the gazebo was there, before there was any concrete down, a hand reaching out of the earth. Someone was buried alive. Was it Allie? So is that Allie's body in the ice chest? Or was Allie buried alive and got out of the ground? Or was she dead a different way and it is her body? What the fuck is going on? It seems like a very random spot to put this clip, but another just like absolutely jaw-dropping moment in history. In TV history. So in actuality, all the information does get revealed by Mona like near the end of the series about who was on the train. So obviously I'm pretty sure Mona was pretending to be Caleb as Phantom of the Opera, and then Melissa and Wilden were the Queen of Hearts. I believe Cece was there dressed up as one of the like babyface zombies, but you can tell me if that's true. I might be making that up. And now we are on to our last, but not least, but maybe least, Pretty Little Liars Halloween episode, Season 4, Episode 13, Grave New World. I remember this one very, very vividly because this was around the time where I was watching the show on TV. So beforehand, like the first 3 seasons, I had watched on Netflix, and I had watched and rewatched. And then I finally had caught up and started watching them like each week as the episodes came out. And that was just like so great. What great times. I miss doing that. I remember I would like make myself a little snack, and I was like obsessed with chocolate covered strawberries for the longest time, but I would have like the best snack for Pretty Little Liars nights. Was it like Thursday nights, I think? And I would get all cozy and I would just like have the best time of my life. I'd be so disappointed once the episode ended. I hate watching all the commercials, but you know, fun times. So at this point, they're in Ravenswood, and I'm pretty sure this is the second episode of them in Ravenswood. Like, they did a bunch of stuff in the previous episode, which I probably should have watched, but I just didn't have time. Clearly, because Halloween is over and I'm still filming this video. Speaking of, I really want to do a Ravenswood rewatch and do a video on it, so let me know if you're interested in that. I think it would be really fun. I hated that Caleb left, and I hated when Caleb and Hannah's relationship suffered, but I did really, really like Ravenswood as a show, and I wish it would have gotten more than one season. Like, I feel like we just fucked up Hannah and Caleb for nothing because we didn't get more than one season of Ravenswood. I also never watched The Perfectionists, and I never watched Pretty Little Liars Summer School, so I feel like I have a lot of Pretty Little Liars content to watch that I can make videos on. Let me know what you think I should start with, because I have some like Christmas videos planned that I want to do, and then after that, like, I'm gonna start planning videos for the year. I want to start uploading like at least once a month, hopefully 2 times a month, but I gotta get like I have to like plan ahead of time in order to do this. Otherwise, like, I'm just a planner, like, it's just not gonna happen unless I like pre-film and stuff. So let me know so I can put it in my schedule and get it done. So we have this whole thing where Caleb is on his way to Ravenswood. And this is basically the pilot episode of Ravenswood where we're first hearing about everything. We're first meeting all these new cast members. And this was a whole complicated thing because as I was watching Ravenswood, I started really liking Miranda. I hated her at first. I actually kind of hate her in this episode specifically. But I started shipping Caleb and Miranda a little bit. And I hated that because I love Caleb and Hannah. And it was just so icky because they basically broke up because of this show. And then obviously we're going to get a super fucking crazy reveal in this episode as well. So like, they really went hard for the Halloween episodes, and I am absolutely here for it. Watching this reveal as it aired was batshit crazy, like Twitter going crazy, trying to hear what everyone had to say about it was crazy. So the girls are all dressed up in their vintage dresses. Emily is looking absolutely so good again. I don't think I appreciated Emily as a character as much when I watched this in high school as I do now. I mean, they're all so hot, but Emily? Oh my god. So at this point, I'm pretty sure they realize that A is a man, and we have already seen the reveal of like Ezra being in that creepy room with like all the suits and stuff. So I'm pretty sure this whole episode we know that something is up with Ezra already. There's a graveyard party being thrown in Ravenswood, and the girls are crashing because they want to find Alison. So they know, or at least suspect, that Alison is alive. And I feel like I knew that Alison was alive, but I was still not fully believing it. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, I was expecting like so many more twists and turns, you know what I mean? Hannah says, "This girdle is cutting off my air supply." Spencer says, "It's a corset." And Hannah says, "It's torture." She says she's never complaining about a sports bra ever again. Emily says that she can't do this because she's not sure if she's ready to see Alison yet. And Aria says that she is ready because they've already seen her, which is true because they literally have seen her a million times. I don't know how they haven't put 2 and 2 together yet that this bitch is alive. Meanwhile, Caleb is on a bus looking moody as fuck. He sees a weird old man in the back of the bus that is looking at him funny. My camera apparently cut out for like 4 minutes, so let's do this one little section here. Aria asks if those are fingers in the ground, and Spencer says, "No, those are mushrooms, Aria, get a grip." Then they see 2 little girls wearing matching red coats at the grave, and they're like wondering if those are the twins. Aria gets a phone call from Ezra, and he's like, "Where are you? You haven't been picking up your phone. I'm worried about you." And to the audience, it's revealed that he's standing outside, like by a brick building, so it looks very, very suspicious. And then it's revealed to the audience that he's the one in the World War II costume with the gas mask that we saw in the previous episode. He tells her that she needs to be careful, and it's very freaking weird and freaky. He's also standing like literally 5 feet away from them and watches them walk away. into the party. I'm pretty sure he's there to find Alison. And then we get another iconic spooky intro. So this time, there's a skull in the eye. Then the eye turns yellow like a little werewolf. The coffin creaks open. The blood dripping looks a little bit different. And then we get bloody handprints in the background. Back on the bus, Caleb wakes up from a nap and there's some random girl with short brown hair sitting directly next to him, even though it's only the two of them and the creepy guy on the bus, so there's no reason for her to sit that close. She asks if he has anything to eat and if he has like gum or a cough drop or anything, and he says that he does in his car, which I'm not sure why he says this because that's 0% helpful. He asks why she's sitting directly next to him. She says that the guy in the back was really creeping her out and the driver doesn't have any snacks. And Caleb says, I'm sorry I didn't pack a picnic. I remember really hating Miranda at first, but her character did grow on me and I really liked the actress when she was in that Jonas show, so I do end up liking her in the end. She then says that she was on another bus recently and she was sitting next to this guy that was like, in certain lightings, I look like Ryan Gosling. And she was like, well, carry that light with you because in this lighting, you look like Shrek. And I thought that was really funny. He finds out that she's also going to Ravenswood and that she's going to meet family that she just found out exists 2 weeks ago. So apparently her family has died and she's been in and out of foster homes. She thinks that he's judging her, but then he explains that he has also been in and out of foster homes. He asks her if she's running away, and she avoids the question. Meanwhile, the girls are wondering if Allie has come to this party to find Mrs. Grunwald. They point out a different guy in a military suit in the crowd and wonder if that's Board Shorts. Remember, Board Shorts is the guy that Allie was seeing, which turns out to be Ezra. Fucking weird. The person they're actually looking at is Luke, who is a part of the new cast for Ravenswood. Emily gets pulled aside by Mrs. Grunwald, who asks what they're doing there, and Emily has like the craziest deer in headlights look I've ever seen on anyone ever, and she says that she's there to talk to people who might have seen Allie, and Mrs. Grunwald says that they all have to leave. And honestly, I never really understood the whole Mrs. Grunwald thing and like why it was important, and Ravenswood as a whole, like it kind of just seems like a dead end and strange because this is full on like magical supernatural shit, and Pretty Little Liars, the town of Rosewood, is not supernatural. Like it's a thriller. Like it is set in reality, and I know that Sarah Shepard never expected any of this bullshit when she wrote the Pretty Little Liars series. So a blonde girl is talking to Luke, the guy that they think is Board Shorts, and Aria decides to follow her. She disappears for a second, and then the girl ends up grabbing Aria's leg from behind a gravestone. Meanwhile, Caleb on the bus keeps trying Hannah's cell phone, who isn't picking up. Miranda asks who Hannah is, and he tells her that Hannah is his girlfriend. Miranda asks if they're in a fight, and Caleb says that he's mad at himself for letting Hannah go to Ravenswood. Caleb then finds out that Miranda's uncle doesn't even know that she's coming there, and he seems super worried about her, which I find to be a little bit weird because, like, they just met 2 seconds ago and they're already BFFs. Like, they're already like having deep discussions and stuff and talking like they've known each other forever. But this is a TV show, so I digress. She also says that he shouldn't worry about her because she has so many places that she can go, which we know is a lie. It turns out that the girl that had grabbed Aria's leg had actually fallen in a ditch. Her name is Leah, and the guy Luke comes to see her. Apparently, he is her cousin, and he says that he knew it wasn't safe to come here. Meanwhile, Hannah is afraid of the little girls in the red coats, the twins, because she still hasn't seen their faces. Aria returns to the girls and says that she doesn't think that that guy was Board Shorts. And Hannah, still talking about the twins, brings up the story that Allie told the girls about the twins, the one about the blonde girl who stabbed her sister. Aria says that she doesn't want to tell ghost stories right now, and I just really love how this has come full circle. Again, I feel like we should have had the baby face zombie to really bring everything full circle, but it is what it is. At least we got something. Then they see someone running away from the graveyard in a red coat, and they think this is Allie, so they follow her. They go inside this little crypt, but when they get in there, Allie is nowhere to be found, and no one else is in there either. Emily takes off her hat and she says, I'm officially losing this flying saucer. They notice that there's a secret door hidden behind this big statue that's kind of hard to move, but it still doesn't explain how the person was able to leave so fast. Like, when they go down in there, the door closes automatically, so it makes sense that the door would have closed automatically, but the statue took a second to move out of the way, And like, does the statue move back automatically? I don't know, it's a mystery. They start descending the staircase, but when the door closes automatically, Emily starts pounding on it, like being all scared that they're locked in there. Spencer says it's okay and that they will find another way out. Real bold in thinking that. She's like, there has to be another way somewhere. Like, maybe. I'd be fucking on Emily's side. Hanna says, hopefully to your car, Spence. I want to go home. Me fucking too. Hanna says that she has -3 bars, as in no signal, so if you are saying that they should be calling the cops right now, think again, bitch. They already got that covered. Aria asks, where's that wind coming from? Which is just funny because they're literally in a tunnel with no exits right now. Spencer says that there must be an open door somewhere, which is just also funny because Spencer keeps going on and on about this like fictional door that there must be somewhere. Suddenly it's so windy inside this tunnel that it's almost a fucking tornado. They all go up against the wall and like kind of huddle close together holding hands. But it gets so dark, and when they look up, Aria isn't holding Hanna's hand anymore. Aria is holding the hand of a statue. And I knew this was about to happen, so I was like trying to see if I could see when it happened, but obviously they didn't show that part. And this is what I'm saying about supernatural. Like, there is absolutely no reason for why this should have happened. It was just pure fucking magic. Because Hanna was standing there, and then Hanna wasn't, and there was a statue there that wasn't there before. How the fuck did that happen? In Aria's hand. On the bus, Miranda has gone to sit somewhere else, but Caleb sits directly next to her again, because these two can't sit apart apparently. He apologizes to her. He tells her about his uncle, who turned out to be his dad, and he tells her that she should get the happily ever after white picket fence daydream out of her mind, because it's never going to happen. Great apology, Caleb. Wonderful. We love to hear it. She then decides to get off the bus before Ravenswood, and it's only then where they introduce each other to each other and say what their names are. But then she notices that the creepy guy from the back of the bus is getting off there, and she decides to stay on for a little bit longer and sits directly next to him again. Back at the party, or in the tunnel, Hanna is walking around by herself at this point. She's looking for the rest of the girls, and she sees "Help Me" written on the wall in what looks like blood but could be like red paint of some sort. And for some reason she touches it? Question mark. She turns her flashlight on and she sees that there are rats everywhere, and she screams. She starts running through the tunnels until she finds a door that leads into a house. It's a little bit jammed, but she pushes it open and gets into this room with the piano. It's a little bit dusty, crusty in there. It's like, does anyone live here? Is it abandoned? We're not really sure. She like presses a few notes on the piano, and then when she leaves, we see that someone has been like standing behind her, and they close the piano. And it's like, how did Hanna not see them in there? Like, unless they were hiding behind the door or something, because the room is pretty empty, so she should have been able to see them, is what I'm saying. But it is whoever is wearing the World War II costume with the gas mask, so it could be Ezra. But let me know if it was Ezra. Was there two people in that costume? Was somebody else doing that? Like I said, I have no idea what's going on anymore. Like, was it Charlotte or something? I don't know. Miranda and Caleb have finally arrived in Ravenswood, and Caleb offers to walk Miranda to her uncle's house, but she wants to go by herself. He says, well, you have my number, and she says, and you've got mine. Like, I do really love them as a friendship, but it just feels so suggestive. Like, could we just have been friends? And the problem is that I do end up shipping them as a relationship, but that's the writer's fault, not my fault. Like, there's clearly a romantic vibe between the two, but we shouldn't be getting a romantic vibe at this point because he's literally still dating Hanna. It's sickening. And I don't know if they did this because they simply expected the show to run longer than one season or what the deal was, but this part is a bit fucked up and awkward in my opinion. She then pokes his forehead and says it keeps evil spirits away. And he says that he's never heard of that, and she says that she just made it up. I really fucking hated that. How very fucking cutesy of her to do that. Ew. Hanna finds a super old phone booth and goes in, and it's like one of those dial phones. What's it called? You know the one I'm talking about, rotary phones. She's looking absolutely gorgeous, by the way, and has like the shiniest earrings on. But then, surprise, surprise, somebody closes her up in this booth. Meanwhile, Spencer, Hanna, and Emily are all walking around, still in the tunnel, and they're yelling at Aria for letting go of Hanna's hand. She is adamant that she did not let go of Hanna. Emily wonders why Hanna would have just disappeared regardless, and Spencer says that she wouldn't have done that. And then the girls see the "Help Me" written on the wall, and thinks that A has both Hanna and Alison. Hanna realizes that the phone doesn't work when it screeches in her ear, and then she realizes that she's locked inside the phone booth. There's also some frosted glass, and she sees these like lights coming from either side, like one from this side, one from this side, and one from in front of her until they come up like really, really close. It's so creepy. I still don't know what that was. What the fuck was that? So they suddenly disappear, and that's when the phone rings, and she answers it so fast without hesitation. She says she needs help, but the only thing coming from the phone is this creepy old music. Then in the next scene, we see Miranda pounding on the door of the house that Hannah's in right now. When no one comes to the door, she simply lets herself in. She's like, hello, and that's when we're like, okay, yeah, maybe this is the house that Hannah's in right now. She starts looking at all the old creepy photos on the walls. So we can assume that this is also her uncle's house because that's where she was going. So Hanna is in her uncle's house right now. There's also an image of what looks like twin girls, so maybe it's the blonde twin girls from the story? I don't know. Like, I just feel like there was no purpose for the twin girls other than to call attention to the book series, and I just like wish that there was like more of a reason for it all. But there's so much in this show that doesn't have a reason, and it drives me nuts. Also, maybe it's just the girls that are like at the party in red coats, but are those the same blonde girls? We don't know, like from the story or not. Finally, Spencer, Aria, and Emily make it into the house. Aria says a door in a crypt that leads to a tunnel that leads to a mansion. What kind of zoning laws does this town have? Look, I can't even talk about underground tunnels right now with the state of the world. Emily says that this could have been from the Prohibition, maybe even the Underground Railroad. Interesting thought. Okay, Pretty Little Liars history lesson. Spencer touches the sheet music that's on the piano, and it's titled, I Didn't Raise My Boy to Be a Soldier. They then look up to see blood dripping from the ceiling. You know what? I think there is the least amount of dialogue in this episode because they just do a lot of like walking around and like looking suspiciously around. And then they just like say a joke here and there. Emily says that's just rusty water, right? But then they hear a scream. They hear Alison yell, they'll find out, my friends know I'm here. Spencer then runs out of the room, and Aria and Emily are literally like right behind her. And when they open the door, it's this huge long hallway, and Spencer is nowhere to be seen. But obviously this is crazy because the hallway is pretty long, so they should have been able to see her running down the hallway, but they didn't. So I don't know if this mansion is just in another fucking universe where time moves really quickly or slowly or whatever's going on, but it's fucking annoying. I'm just used to Pretty Little Liars being at least set in reality with like the laws of gravity. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just all a bit outlandish. Hanna is still locked in the phone booth, but she sees someone looking at her through the frosted glass. It looks like Allie, and she's like, Allie? But then she gets snatched by someone else. The guy in the gas mask starts looking in at her. She grabs the phone to use it as a weapon, but when she turns back, the guy isn't there anymore. So yeah, let me know. Is this Ezra or is it not Ezra? The doorknob starts opening really slowly, and then when the door opens, it's just Miranda. Miranda says hello. Hanna says hi, but looks really confused. Miranda says that she didn't see anyone running down the hallway and that Hanna is the only person she's seen here. She also asks who Hanna is, and Hannah's like, why should I tell you? Miranda says, because I'm the one that let you out of the phone booth. Hanna says, how do I know you're not the one that locked me in the phone booth? Miranda said that if she was trying to kill her, she would do something better than a phone booth. And then Hanna introduces herself. We can see the recognition on Miranda's face, like she's thinking, oh, this is Hanna, Caleb's girlfriend, the one that Caleb is looking for right now. But she doesn't say that. She doesn't say that she knows Caleb. She doesn't say that Caleb's looking for her. She doesn't say that she saw Caleb on the bus. Nothing. And I think that's really fucking odd. Really fucking weird. They go off together to find the rest of her friends. Miranda asks if she always dresses like prom night on the Titanic, which is honestly accurate for the outfit and really funny. They walk into a room filled with caskets, and this is when we learn that her uncle is like a funeral director. Hanna says that she wants to go, but Miranda stays in the room for a little bit, and she's having this flashback memory. Hanna says, come on, no window shopping, which is a little bit fucking morbid, like because she's looking at the different caskets. What? Why would Hanna say that? But Miranda is remembering her as a kid in this room. when it was like her parents in the casket. So she remembers that she was at her parents' funeral, even though she tells people that she wasn't there, and that her uncle was there saying, like, try not to understand this and to please forgive him. So this is just giving us like all this lore so that we want to watch Ravenswood and figure out what this relationship is all about. She starts crying and she tells Hanna that she's remembering that she was at her parents' funeral and she remembers a man there that she thinks was her uncle, but she doesn't understand why her uncle would have left her in foster care if he was there at the funeral, because he's her only family left and she feels abandoned, basically. Hanna says, I don't know, but when we get out of here, we'll find him and I'll hold him down when you ask, which is super, super sweet, and I love Hanna so much, but I just feel like Miranda was really trauma dumping on her, and Hanna doesn't know the backstory. Like, we saw Miranda tell Caleb all of this information, but it just feels very out of context for Hanna, and Hanna, like, doesn't seem that confused, but, like, she can't fully know the story or what's happening. Like, if we hadn't heard what Miranda said to Caleb and we were only hearing what she said to Hanna, it would have felt very weird and out of context and confusing. Also, apparently Miranda can just make friends with whoever it is in the world and like have the deepest conversations with them. Meanwhile, Emily and Aria get into this room filled with chemicals and they find an open window. They stick their head out the window and Emily asks if she remembers them climbing up any stairs, which is crazy because they quite literally climbed up stairs to get into the house. So that was a stupid question. There's also like a loose piece of glass hanging above their heads that the camera keeps panning to as they stick their heads out, so it's like, oh my god, are they gonna get decapitated? Emily is considering jumping down the trellis. Aria doesn't know what they would say to anyone to get help, like, we're looking for our friend who's dead, and then we lost our other friend in this creepy house, and like, we got here, there was a cemetery, there was a crypt, there was a secret door, like, sounds fucking crazy and unbelievable in this random bitch's house that, like, you're trespassing, basically. So Emily is literally hanging out this window. Like, her whole body is, like, almost out the window when they hear a scream. They hear Allie yell, "You can't keep me here." Emily gets down from the window and back into the house, and immediately the glass falls and shatters everywhere, and Emily and Aria are staring at it in awe, like, oh my god, we almost fucking died. Meanwhile, Spencer has ended up in some greenhouse situation with the guy dressed up in the gas mask. She grabs some garden shears to protect herself and slashes his hand, and then beats the fuck out of him until he falls on the ground. But this is her mistake. He's laying on the ground, she thinks he's unconscious, she tries to take the mask off of him to see who it is, but then he grabs her hand and she falls and hits her head and passes the fuck out. Ugh. Caleb then runs into Miranda in the graveyard because Hanna and Miranda have made it outside, apparently. She says that they can talk about her later because right now his girl needs a hug, and he looks at her like she is talking about herself. I'm not even fucking joking with you. But then they turn and look at Hanna, who is like a foot away or something. Obviously, this is who she was referring to, but the way it's phrased is very fucking suggestive and confusing. It's just fucking annoying. Hanna and Caleb hug. Meanwhile, Aria and Emily find Spencer on the ground and they hear Allie scream again. Meanwhile, Hanna takes Caleb and Miranda to the secret door, but it won't open this time. She's like trying to push this statue out of the way all by herself, but it's really heavy. So she's like, why am I doing this myself? And then Caleb tries to help her, but it's not budging, so he's like, are you sure we're in the right place? That's when Miranda finds a gravestone that has her name and picture on it. This is also lore for Ravenswood specifically. A bit later, Spencer, Hanna, and Aria follow Allie screaming into a room where it turns out it was just a tape of her. Fucking typical. Also, where the fuck is Miranda's uncle this whole time? Then Mrs. Grunwald shows up and says that they should not be here. She takes out the tape. She's like, oh my god, you guys found the tunnel. Weird assumption considering Miranda did take the front door, so there's more than one way to get there. Like, weird assumption you'd think they would take the weird fucking way through the tunnel. The front door was an option. Mrs. Grunwald is like, okay, so you guys are here, so that means Alison was here. She also says that this house is her home because she is the caretaker, so I guess she is the caretaker for Miranda's uncle's home or mansion or creepy house or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay, I'm like slurring my words and falling asleep, so I'm going to go make a coffee. We are almost at the end and we will finish this up. I'm wrapping this fucking shit up tonight. I'm having fun, but my neck hurts. It is so much later than I realized right now. You don't know how long it will take to film these things until you do it. So Mrs. Grunwald says that these tapes were her sessions with Alison. So I don't know if she was like, sessions of what? I'm lost. But they were 6 months ago, meaning Alison was alive 6 months ago, even though she's been missing for years, and that the tape was stolen. But now it's back. So, unless Mrs. Grunwald was talking to a ghost, which, honestly, at this point, that could fucking be, Alison's alive. She shudders really dramatically, and Emily's like, what did you see? And Miss Grunwald's like, it's not what I see, it's what I feel. She says, one of you has been touched by the one that Alison fears the most. Mic fucking drop. Such a banger at the time. Obviously, we're all looking at Aria because we're like, Ezra is Ezra is A. Meanwhile, Miranda finds an obituary for the creepy guy that was on the back of the bus, meaning that guy was a ghost. Hello? It's also a bit strange how Hanna just totally opened up to Miranda about, like, Allie being alive, and they were looking for her and stuff, because they've been keeping this a secret for so long. So they get back to Spencer's car, but there's a flat tire. And she says, one of us knows how to fix a flat tire, right? Aria and Spencer both look at Emily, and Emily goes, you're looking at me because I'm gay? And Aria goes, no, you just happen to be the sporty one. Classic moment. Meanwhile, Hanna is still with Miranda and Caleb and tells Miranda that she can come with them. Miranda's like, you can take home strays, and Hanna looks at Caleb and is like, I've done it before. And honestly, I just think it is so fucking sick and twisted how Hanna is being so kind to her, offering to take her home, knowing what we know is about to fucking happen to her and her boyfriend. Like, these bitches have been flirting the whole fucking night, and she is offering this woman a place to stay. Miranda says no, but Hanna gives her a hug and says it's an open invitation. After she leaves, Hanna tells Caleb that she really doesn't think that they should leave her alone here. And Caleb's like, well, she has to do this. She really needs these answers. Hanna says, damn it, and kisses him. He's like, what was that for? And she's like, for being the kind of guy that I could ask to stay here and take care of a girl that pretty. I beg your finest fucking pardon, bitch. This is crazy on so many goddamn levels. Why is she asking him? Why is she the one to tell him to stay in some random town to take care of some random girl? It makes no sense. I feel like they needed a reason for Caleb to stay in Ravenswood, and there should have been a better reason than that, is all I'm saying. It's just weird to tell your boyfriend to, like, stay in some random town to take care of some random girl. It'd be weird to ask your boyfriend to stay in some random town for any reason. He says, I love you, Hanna Marin, in the most dramatic way ever. It really makes it seem like they're never gonna see each other again or something, so I feel like the writers were doing something sick and twisted with this shit. It also just really, like, it's giving that he wants to stay and that she's doing him some favor by letting him or, like, telling him to. It's just like, the whole thing is fucked up. I don't know. He walks up to Miranda, and Miranda's like, you're not leaving, are you? And he's like, not tonight. And then they just look at each other. So fucking cutesy. Ew. Then Hanna is walking by herself in the graveyard, and she sees the two girls in the red jackets, but it's not twins. Suspicious. What was the point? I'm confused. Meanwhile, Spencer realizes that she does not have an extra tire. Hanna comes up to them, and Aria's like, where's Caleb? And she's like, he's helping a friend, and that was enough for them. They ask no questions. They don't care about the fact that they're leaving him in Ravenswood. They're okay with that. And that's that. Then some random car pulls up with bright ass headlights, and out comes Ezra fucking Fitz in the fucking flesh. Bitch. Ezra fucking Fitz. Like I said, Ezra just likes showing up places. This isn't the first time. Now I can say that. It's giving a creepy ass vibe. Because we know something's up with him. But the girls don't know yet. Fucking chickpeas. Fucking chickpeas are coming for him, bitch. Just you fucking wait. I want to do a video on that one. That episode was crazy. The chickpeas are crazy. We've also come so far from where he was in season 1. Like, I know he was a creep in season 1, but he was just a normal dude. Like, now, what is going on with him? And then he gets a redemption arc? How? How does he come back from all this? How does he just bounce back? He's like a fucking cat with 9 fucking lives. He said that he was worried about Aria because she wasn't answering her phone, and he offers them a ride home. Nobody questions how he found them. They're just okay with this, and they get in his car. And let's remember, this used to be their teacher. Or still is? Are they still in high school? Or did they graduate? You guys, is this their teacher? Oh my god. Ezra drops them off at Spencer's house, and immediately they see someone in a red jacket, a red hood to be exact, running into the woods by Spencer's house. This feels very sloppy. Like, does Allie want to be found because she's gone all this time watching them without being found, but she kept getting seen in this episode? But I think she was leading them to the backyard to get found, right? Or was she not? Was she trying to get away? I don't know. I'm confused. The girls chase after Redcoat into the woods. You can see that the person has blonde hair. It's very much giving Alison. And now they're in Spencer's backyard. The person stops. The girls stop. They're just staring at her back for what feels like forever. We're waiting for the reveal. Is this Alison? Is it someone else? We've been here before and it wasn't Alison. It was fucking Cece or whatever. Or did that not happen yet? Aria goes, Alison? Allie turns around and it is truly her in the flesh. And I remember this being so fucking crazy. Like, I knew it was about to happen, but there was just a part of me that was like, there's no way it's actually gonna happen. There's no way we're actually gonna get this reveal. And the other crazy part is that she doesn't even come back after this. Like, they have to find her again, don't they? Like, season 4 this is? When does she come back? Like, season 6? I'm not sure. The girls look shocked. Allie smiles and says, "Did you miss me?" Which was so fucking iconic, obviously. Classic phrase. Alison says she doesn't have much time. It's not safe here. She wants to come home, but she needs help. They ask who she's afraid of, and Hanna says, "Remember what I told you in the hospital, Hanna." Hanna is shocked, wondering if that was really her. Obviously it was! I remember eating that shit up. Alison in the fucking candy stripe uniform. Oh my god! Obviously it was her. And that was literally back in season 1, so I love the callback to that. But they can hear that someone is coming, so Allie shushes them. Shh. Because we need a shh moment, like Aria does, with the shh. She puts her finger over her mouth, just like she did in the last Halloween episode in the flashback with Garrett when she wanted Jenna to believe she was dead. Another full circle moment. I see what you guys are doing here, or I'm just making shit up. They turn around, and it's fucking Ezra fucking Fitz, bitch. And oh my god, when I first watched this show, I loved Aria and Ezra together. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of us fell victim to thinking that they were romantic and they were hot. It was fucked up. It was fucked up. I still ship them in season 1. I know it's fucked up. I know I shouldn't. But this man, after like season 3, get the fuck out. It goes too far. It goes too fucking far. I just want to pretend that the chickpeas don't exist. What the fuck is Ezra Fitz doing here? He has already left. But now he's back. He calls out to Aria, and honestly, Aria looks really suspicious of him too. And it's like, this is your boyfriend. This is literally your boyfriend. And you think that you think he's being weird right now. They zoom in really suspiciously to his hands, like, what's in his pockets? What's he gonna pull out? But then he pulls out his cell phone. He says, "You forgot your cell phone." But he says it in the most like freaky deaky tone I've ever heard. It's like lightning, it's thundering, he looks so suspicious and creepy. And this whole time we're thinking like, is he looking at Alison right now? Like, is Alison there? We don't know because the camera has been looking at him and not Alison. And the last time we saw Alison, she was still there. She hadn't run away yet. But when the girls turn back, Alison is gone. And like, I think we're supposed to assume that he didn't see her, but he's looking where they were looking, like where Alison was. So it seems like he did see her, and it seems like he knew she was there because obviously he wanted to see her, and came back for a reason. Like, I don't know, like she forgot her phone. I'm sure he did that shit on purpose. He also had like a little fuck ass smirk on his face when he had the phone in his hand, so I just don't believe anything this motherfucker says. He also had like a crazy look in his eyes when the girls turned around, like when he was looking at where Alison was. Meanwhile, back in Ravenswood, Miranda asks Caleb what his last name is. They're looking at a grave with his name and his picture. Which, first of all, I think it's weird that Miranda was like, "Caleb, what's your last name?" Because the picture is covered, okay? You have to like pull open the thing to see the picture. So all she's seeing is Caleb Rivers. But she doesn't know that his last name is Rivers. So why are you going to look at a gravestone and think, "Oh, that's a Caleb. Oh, you're a Caleb. Obviously this is you." No! Weird fucking assumption for her to make and ask that in the first place. It would have made more sense if he would have noticed it, but regardless, here's more Ravenswood lore. I also have no idea. I don't remember really like why is Caleb involved? Like, okay, this girl Miranda is from Ravenswood, right? Like her uncle lives there. That makes sense. This bitch Caleb, he's from Rosewood. Or I don't know, maybe he's not. No, he's not from Rosewood, is he? He moved there. He's not from Ravenswood. Why is this random bitch involved in this? I don't know. I need to rewatch Ravenswood. I need to rewatch Ravenswood. Maybe that'll be the first thing I do in January, because we're not doing Ravenswood over the Christmas season. And Christmas starts in November. Don't fucking fight with me. Christmas starts in fucking November, okay? Thank you. Maybe like halfway through November. I'm not gonna start right now. I'm Canadian, so I have Thanksgiving in October, not November. So the Christmas season starts now. So they just stare at each other, all freaked out, and it's like super foggy outside. They look around in the fog for much longer than they need to. Much longer than what was necessary. Much like how I'm rambling for much longer than is necessary and making this video much longer than is necessary, and then it closes out. That is the last Pretty Little Liars Halloween episode. Those are all 3 Pretty Little Liars Halloween episodes. What I've learned is I don't know as much about Pretty Little Liars as I thought, and I feel like I used to know everything. I used to know this show inside and out, and I will say I pretty much do know the book series inside and out. The book series is where I really shine, so my next video I think is going to be Jenna Kavanaugh or Mona. Mona Vanderwaal maybe? Mona will be really fun, but I'm going to focus on like the book series for a little bit and then come back with the Christmas episodes, and I will do the Christmas book as well. So we have lots of fun holiday content coming out. Literally nobody watched my Grey's Anatomy video, so I'm not sure if anyone's even going to watch this one. But I'll still be posting over the holidays regardless, and hopefully at least somebody enjoys the videos. And then hopefully I'll get on a semi-regular posting schedule in January if I can get ahead of it all. And I just want to have fun with my channel. I want to stop being so perfectionist about it, but at the same time, I want to post stuff that I'm proud of and that people enjoy watching, you know? I mean, but the point is to have fun. So before I close with this video, I do want to rate them 1 to 5. I think it's pretty close between the first 2, but I genuinely loved all 3 of these episodes. I love a special episode of a TV show regardless, and I feel like they went really hard during the Halloween episodes, but I think I have to put the Ghost Train one as number 1. I just think it was more shocking. It's so close though, but I just think it's more fun and it's more shocking, and there's so many reveals. And then the First Secret, the like flashback episode, will have to go second, but I have so much love for this episode. I loved how involved Allie was. I loved seeing them all a little bit younger. That one is so fun, like such a close second. And in the third place, I would have to put this last one, the Ravenswood one, just because I don't love the Ravenswood stuff as much as the other stuff, but I still liked it. And I thought it was a fun episode. But I also am like a little bit lost with the whole like Ezra stuff and like the gas mask person and just like all the Ravenswood lore, because I don't remember anything that happened in the Ravenswood series, so it's just not as good as the other 2. But still really, really good, and I still really enjoyed it. I would love to know how you guys would rank it. I would love to know if you have any favorite Pretty Little Liars episodes, or which one of these 3 Halloween episodes were your favorite. Let me know if you have any specific episodes you want me to rate, any specific TV show plot lines you would like me to do proper research on and report back on, or book series plot lines, which I will probably know a lot better. I posted my Halloween Grey's Anatomy video on Halloween a couple days ago, so don't be afraid to watch that. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't fucking forget. Don't be fucking afraid. Don't be afraid. I know it's spooky, but don't be afraid. Okay, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Yeah, so check that out. Thank you for watching. I love you so much for being here, and I hope you had the best Halloween. Goodbye.